Welcome back, Truth Seeker. I am going to stay on the topic of Maui for a long time. And again, I do intend to go to Maui in the near future to educate on the streets the exact same things that I'm educating about right now. I feel it's so essential to do that because just like last year we were in New York City the day of September 11th. We were teaching about a historical pattern of destruction and where it relates with September 11th and Pearl Harbor. And again, emphasizing why it's important that Pearl Harbor was on December 7th, 127, and they called 9/11 in New York the new Pearl Harbor the day buildings 1, 2, and 7 fell. Why that's not arbitrary, why it's important. And now, it's not even a year later since we were in New York for 9/11. We're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of that. And we've been teaching about this for a long time, by the way. But I mean, just last year we were at the World Trade Center teaching on the streets, and a lot of people appreciated it. This knowledge needs to get out there. But now it needs to be taught in Hawaii because the 127's back, and this time it's in Hawaii, not far from Japan, between the anniversaries of right between the anniversaries of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, August 6th, August 9th. Maui gets it on August 8th and takes over the U.S. news on August 9th, the anniversary of Nagasaki. But I'm going to continue to research this, and I'm going to put something together really short and compact for Maui to teach some really important lessons. Just if you've been around my channel for the last decade, I've been doing this since August 2013, teaching about this knowledge and what is really going on in the world, as crazy as it might sound. For all the people who turn off my work because they think it's too crazy, you need to stay with it and pay attention. You'll see I'm talking about the same stuff over and over consistently. But I'm going to continue to research this until I feel like I've hit a critical mass of undeniableness, if you will. And you guys, what I'm about to show you, I mean, it really is mind-blowing if you just think about it. The power structure in this world that's making fools of us, that's spinning these riddles as they mock us one disaster at a time, from September 11th, a national emergency on 911, from that to now what's happened in Maui. And mind you, they blamed it on Hurricane Dora, and it took over the news again on August 9th, the day after. They kind of kept it out of the news for the most part on August 8th, even though it was burning all day in Hawaii, or for much of the day. But August 9th, as we talked about yesterday, is also the anniversary of the end of Dora the Explorer, and why it matters that the creator of that show is 64 years old, as Maui and Hawaii turned 64 as a state this month. But look at this, you guys. I was watching the news this morning, as I'm so often working. Well, oftentimes I'm not really watching the news. It's on in the room with me, and I'm listening to the news, so I'm missing a lot of the visuals, but at least I'm listening to what they're saying. And I noticed this one guy was making a point about how significant it was to Lahaina when the Taco Bell burnt down because it was a sign of what was coming for the more historic, I think he said Front Street or First Street. I've never been there, so I'm not familiar. But again, he was making the point about Taco Bell. And I thought, there's a big web here. We've talked about where Pepsi Company fits in, the biggest food company in North America, as we've been threatened with climate change and what it could do to agriculture in America. We had the land derecho the other year by the numbers, if you recall that one. But he started talking about Taco Bell. And I want to make a big point about Taco Bell, who's partners with Pepsi. But I couldn't believe it when I saw the address of the Taco Bell that burned in Lahaina that they were talking about. Again, 127. The address was 127, and the name of the street is named after Polynesian wood. I looked up what the street name was. It said it's a form of a type of Polynesian wood. And of course, wood burns. And of course, The Rock, who we've been talking a lot about, he plays Maui in the Disney film Moana. And Maui's the Polynesian fire god. And the big controversy with him playing the Hawaiian king is that he's actually Polynesian and not Hawaiian. And remember, in Gematria, Polynesia equals 127. Again, I think the people of Polynesia, look up, if Polynesia is not the term, you look up all the territories that are Polynesia. New Zealand's a big one, and they've had some environmental disasters recently, as we've discussed. But there's several Polynesian islands, and The next big 127 that's coming up is August 26th. That's the day leaving 127 days left in the year. We had the big fiasco in Afghanistan not that long ago. 2021. Yeah, it was 2021. And I did mention at the beginning of this year, like back in March, how it seemed like they were pointing to something significant coming on August 26th. That's the day leaving 127 days left in the year. And we're going to talk more about why 127 is so significant. Again, it's beyond just this ritual with Hawaii and Polynesia and September 11th. The number 127 means something to the people who are doing this. But look at this. Just follow this stream that we've already talked about. We talked about Barack Obama from Hawaii turning 62 4 days before this disaster. We talked about how Kanye West, who's connected to Obama, Kanye, in November of 2008, when Obama became president-elect, the first black president in U.S. history, in that same month, November 2008, 08, like how this storm was on 8/8. Again, in that month, Kanye put out 808s and Heartbreak, the album. 808s and Heartbreak. The area code for Hawaii is 808. And if you look it up, Hawaii's area code became 808 on the date August 8th. 808 on August 8th in history. But 808s and Heartbreak, again, Hawaii is the 50th and final state. It burns up the week of hip-hop's 50th anniversary. The 50th state, hip-hop's 50th anniversary. So then we thought about Jay-Z, who brought Kanye West up, who's Gematria. Jay-Z is 62. Again, Kanye's 62nd day of his age. Barack, number 62. As we'll get to with The Rock, the King's actual name, who he's portraying in the film that's coming out, which is the controversy because he's Polynesian. The King, his name equals 62. They also just reopened a Taco Bell in Maui not too far back that's on the street that's named after the King. We'll look at that. Because again, Taco Bell was established in 1962. Taco Bell, 1962. History repeating itself. That means they're going to turn 62 years old next year, 2024. The year of the big X across the U.S. with the two recent great solar eclipses. Rare phenomenon happening. It was the first of its kind in like 100 years when it happened in 2017. And now, it's happening again not too long after. It's making a big X over the nation. If you don't know about that, it's next April. The big eclipse, April 2024. Big eclipse coming. But anyway, this 62 number. If you have not read my first book, again, this is my first book. It's what it looks like without its cover on, but you can look it up. Letters and Numbers. I was pretty much done writing it in 2017. After 4 years of researching this, this was my best effort in 2017. It was overwhelming. It didn't need to be this long, but the 19th chapter of that book's about weather warfare, and it starts on the date August 15th, 1952, the Jesuit order's birthday. And it talks about what 62 had to do with that first act of weather warfare and how it also fits in with the biblical Torah, where you have the flood and you also have fire raining from the sky. And what 62 specifically has to do with flooding in Hebrew Gematria, as well as English. So we've been talking about 62 and weather warfare for a long time, right? Again, the page 1 of my chapter on weather warfare, we were just looking at this in a stream the other day. I can pull it back up later in the stream, but not to be so redundant. Again, if you haven't seen my other videos, check out the other videos. Or you can look into my book, page 1 and page 2. Read page 1 and page 2 of the chapter on weather warfare. Anyway, all these perfect 62s, right? And if I didn't say so already, the Jay-Z, who's Gematria, is 62, who got his first bit of fame in the Hawaiian Sophie music video. Again, he literally gets yanked up out of the scene with ropes near his neck, almost like a noose, exactly 50 seconds into the music video. The word hung equals 50, like America. Again, Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, doing jokes by this code. So all those 62s, Taco Bell in 62, Barack Obama just turned 62, on Kanye's 62nd day of his age, who recorded 808 and Heartbreaks, and again, who got famous through Katrina, right? People learned about Kanye West through the Katrina tragedy. I mean, some people knew about Kanye West before, but almost everybody knew Kanye West's name after Katrina because it became the big news story when he said on live TV that George Bush doesn't care about black people when he was supposed to be just helping raise funds for the Red Cross for Katrina victims. But he took his time to say, George Bush doesn't care about black people, and then he was all over the news for that. And he's been mega famous ever since. Next thing you know, he's with the Kardashians and just everything that's unfolded since then. But again, Jay-Z supposedly who brought Kanye West forward, and we're talking about all these mega stars on the world stage, right? The Rock, again, he's playing the king whose name is 62. Jay-Z, whose name is 62. Kanye, Barack. Now, the Taco Bell piece, we're going to look at this, and again, like it says, was Maui an accident? Come to your own conclusions. Is the Illuminati real? Well, it was at one point definitely a real thing. It was established May 1st, 1776 by Adam Weishaupt, who was a Jesuit. Again, there's way too much, in the truth community, there's way too much hatred for Jewish people. Most Jewish people don't have anything to do with world conspiracies. But again, it is very interesting that Hawaii does have a Jewish governor right now, and the country just turned 247 years old, and it happened on his 247th day of being governor, and led to the way everything else is synced up. And again, I would love for the governor of Maui to be the first one to speak up and help us expose the Illuminati and say, you know what, I've seen enough too. That's the problem. All these people they got in the game that are all the pawns that are in the right place on the chessboard, like the Maui governor. Obviously, they think the game is right, or else they just like the way they benefit from the game, and they don't have the courage in them to stand against real evil. Like how, again, on CNN, I keep hearing them say, blowtorch winds, like this is a new thing. Blowtorch winds were upon the people of Maui that day. Came in like a blowtorch. It's like, this stuff is sick, man. But yeah, we're going to bring this all together. If you think what I've said so far is all a coincidence, please watch the rest of this video. And by the way, if you get inspired by any part of this video, feel free to share the whole video. Feel free to clip a part and share it anywhere. I love when people share the work. The point of doing this work is to get it out there. The more people share it, the more it's getting out there. So thank you in advance. But yeah, anyone who thinks what I've said so far could be a coincidence, let's go through the rest of it. Something that comes up a lot, the Illuminati card game. If you don't know that this is a real thing, look into it, because there's a lot of strange happenings in the world that seem to tie in very much with this card game. It only has so many cards, and there's some very symbolic ones. Not so much this Hawaii one, but I'm just making the point that in the Illuminati card game is Hawaii. And you know what? In fact, I want to make a point about The Rock being so central to all this. If you have not seen the work so far on The Rock, go back and watch the other videos. We've been talking about it for hours because there's a ton, and we will talk about it more. But The Rock is 51 years old right now. In Gematria, the most simple cipher is the alphabetic order. Hawaii is 51. They say it's made up of 137 islands, which is the 33rd prime number. If you take the alphabetic order in numerology, Hawaii becomes 33. But The Rock's 51 right now. The Illuminati was founded May 1st, 1776, just before the American Revolution. And it was founded by Adam Weishaupt. And with numerology, his name is 51, like the date 5-1. And with the alphabetic order, it's 141. And we'll come back to that 141 in light of what's happened in Maui. And just bigger things. But just realize there is something called the Illuminati card game. If you're not familiar with it, look it up. There's one for Las Vegas as well, an Illuminati card. And we'll be talking about the parallels with Las Vegas and Maui, the police chief and beyond. You know, the police chief's just the tip of the iceberg. It's a big recurring pattern. And you know, before we get in this, for people who are not familiar with me or might have found this for the first time, understand I have put some books out there educating about these things for a long time. And if you've read those books in the past and paid attention to what I've been teaching for all these years, you're not thinking this work's crazy or dumb. You're seeing that this stuff is very repetitive and people really need to wake up to end the game. And there is a way to end the game, but it's going to take a mass awakening, which does seem possible in the age of, you know, all this connectivity and phones, while at least we still have it. I worry that someday we won't have it, and then we'll think, God, we had it, and we never used it to to unite as a people against really, a very, very tiny minority that just happens to have wealth and the technology and the tools to control the minds of the world. But yeah, I've been working on this book for 3 years about the Illuminati, why they use a specific number that we're going to talk a lot more about today. That number is 201. Has to do with why Adam Weishaupt, the trained Jesuit who founded the Illuminati, died 201 days after its anniversary. Has a lot to do with why the founder of Israel died 201 days after its anniversary. Has a lot to do with why there's so many deaths with 201 in history. And again, why the first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis, is the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican. Again, the Jesuits and the Illuminati, and this recurring number, and where it relates with the history of weather control, and what's happened with Maui, and the people up on that screen. The Rock, playing the Polynesian fire god Maui in the Disney film. They said that the tattoos for the character in the Disney film are taken from The Rock's actual grandfather, who got him into the wrestling business, along with his grandmother. And you look back at when his grandfather died, it was June 13th. The day leaving 201 days left in the year. Again, if you're new here, we're going to bring where all these numbers come together. There's only one fast food chain that has a 201, and that's Taco Bell, the same company that made fun of the Illuminati with their advertising back in 2017. But yeah, again, we're going to bring this all together. Barack had that huge 201 ritual with the Beirut blast on his birthday, 201 days after Michelle's birthday, because it was a leap year. And again, that was the first blast in Beirut since the barracks bombing, like Barack. But yeah, these jokes, understanding this knowledge, you can see what's really going on and why we keep, why faces like this are always in front of us and what they think and feel and their latest entertainment. I mean, you start to think about how many people in this world, like if there's 10 celebrities in this world right now that the most people in the world know, that a lot of them might actually be Chinese in Asia because there's more people, but okay, maybe at least for America, right? 10 celebrities, it's going to be a little bit different for everybody, but there's going to be certain names that just everybody knows right now. And likely names on that list, The Rock, Barack Obama, Kanye West, Jay-Z, So, and anyway, as I've been writing this book, you guys, it's been about that the book has seemingly a silly title. It's Illuminati Confirmed, the Jesuit Order. And the reason I put that together is because Illuminati Confirmed is this spoof online to make fun of conspiracies, which can be real. Everyone just treats conspiracy like it's automatically science fiction, which is not true. A conspiracy is when two or more people conspire to take advantage of another group of people. Sure, that happens all the time, don't you think? In a big world full of people. But, yeah, when I've been writing this book, it's been difficult because there's so many big concepts to present, and I'm trying to do it in a really short amount of pages because people have a short attention span. And what's amazing is, weather control is part of that book and how they're building this civil war, this recreation of the Civil War through this 201 number. All of these are themes in the book, okay? And now, again, a story like this. America took over Hawaii shortly after the conclusion of Hawaii's Civil War that probably cost a lot of its strongest men. So Hawaii got rid of a lot of its ancestors in a civil war, and then America swooped in afterwards and took over the nation. And The Rock's portraying, the guy who united everybody after the Civil War. Again, they're talking about how Grover Cleveland apologized for the way we took over Hawaii. And there's all these parallels right now with Trump trying to become the second split-term president since Cleveland. And we know they do all these 88 rituals with Trump, right? And then we're talking about Maui now on 8/8 as they're doing all this Civil War stuff from Montgomery to Georgia. Good, Montgomery's the old. Again, it's so much to explain, and that's why it gets hard to get it into 50 pages, which is what I've been trying to do for 3 years. But I might be able to bring it all together just through writing about Maui. I might be able to do a 50-page book that just brings all these ideas together. And again, I wish the book was already out and we've already taught about all these concepts anyway. It's not like they're new. It's just we figured it out so much better. And I've thought if we can explain it to people through really just one number primarily, Again, we talked about where 62 fits in with this. Important. Where 127 fits in. Important. We can bring it all together actually through the number 201 and history and how all this works out. And again, The Rock's grandfather died on the day leaving 201 days left in the year. Last year, the major act of weather warfare. There was more than one, but in the U.S., probably the biggest one was what happened to Wyoming on June 13th, the anniversary of The Rock's grandfather's death, the day leaving 201 days left in the year. And it was messed up, you guys, because, again, you can't mention his name. He's the guy who, he's credited with founding Microsoft. Now he's big in the jab thing, and, he's predicting the next pandemic. You know that guy that just the algorithm hates if you talk about him. He's up in Seattle with the Space Needle, the world's biggest needle. He declared a decade of vaccines before it happened. Bill Gates, he just wrote a 201-page book on climate change. His full name, William Henry Gates, equals 201, like Order of Illuminati, like the Jesuit order, like weather control. But he just wrote a 201-page book about climate change, and then he put out a film series with a different name than the title of the book that was based on that book, and the name of the film series equals 201. These are all things we've covered in the past, as we've talked about 201 a gazillion times on this channel. Again, Event 201, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, was a big sponsor for Event 201. You guys don't know what Event 201 is. It happened right before the pandemic. You'll never guess what kind of simulation they had. You'd never guess what virus they simulated right before the pandemic of 2020. Declared on that infamous March 11th date. It's been a rough date for Japan and a lot of places. Off the top of my head, I don't have any 201s with Jay-Z, but I've seen some with Beyonce and the recent Lion King film that she's a big part of the soundtrack. I'm sure there have been some with Jay-Z, and I've just missed them. I don't always keep the biggest eye on Jay-Z, but seeing him get yanked up at the 50-second mark of Hawaiian Sophie, with everything going on in all the 62s, that was something else. And Kanye, I have to go back. We've talked a lot about a lot of rituals with Kanye. And he's hanging out with Mr. Trump, Mr. 201. Trump, who was just in Montgomery at hotel, address 201. There's a long trail of Trumps with 201. He buried his ex-wife last year on the 201st day of the year. 45 years after their marriage is the man who was number 45. The history of his first marriage, his first child. There's plenty of 201s, plus Trump's Jesuit educated. And then Obama, the 201 ritual with him was the Beirut blast. Again, it was on the 201st day of Michelle's age because it falls that way in a leap year. And again, Beirut barracks bombing, Barack's birthday, Beirut. It's just... And again, Taco Bell's the only fast food company with the 201. So, okay. If you're new here, the CIA. Oh my God, you guys, pretty much the entire history of this country is 201, from the beginning up to the present. And remember, the nation's capital early in this nation's existence was moved to Georgetown, which is the Jesuit stronghold. So again, if you're new to my channel, what I'm showing is the Jesuits run the show. That's why the first act of weather warfare was admitted to on the Jesuit order's birthday. But okay, getting all these numbers nicely in a row. Order of Illuminati 201, this Illuminati card game. Now, it is true that before Adam Weishaupt called it Order of Illuminati, that was actually the name change after the initial name. The initial name was Bavarian Illuminati. And then he changed the name to Order of Illuminati. And Bavarian Illuminati is very interesting too, and I point out many times that it seems like they use the coding of both. For example, today's August 18th. The Rock was married on this day 4 years ago. He got married to Lauren Hashian. That's how you say it. August 18th, 2019. We talked about it then. Kofi Annan had just died in recent years on this day at age 80. But you see how in Gematria, Bavarian Illuminati is 188, like the date can be written 18/8. And if you use numerology, it's 80, like the Rock is 80. There's more to that 80 number as well. But just on the Illuminati thing, again, Kofi Annan had just died recently at age 80 on 18/8. The patterns recurred on this date. In other ways, with regards to the Illuminati, there's symbolisms all over U.S. dollar bill. And the U.S. dollar bill denominations are 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, which adds up to 188. So Illuminati symbolism on the bill, and the denominations equal 188. So, it's perfect that we're talking about this today. And back when he got married, he was 47 years old, dropped the rocks 47, which is a very special number to Freemasonry, and part of the Illuminati's plan was to infiltrate many important things, including Freemasonry. There's actually a letter from George Washington at the beginning of the country, how he feared Illuminati would infiltrate the Freemason order he was part of. And he was in his 48th year of life, and the Hobbs and Shaw film was just coming out. But yeah, I'm going to just... His wife is 38 as this fire from Dora wipes out. Actually, I see a couple things in his wife. Again, remember, Moana came out on the day leaving 38 days left near, and in Moana, you keep seeing this black stuff go over the island, but they don't make it clear what it's from. Then in the live action in the trailer, it's the island burning. So all throughout Moana, you have black going over the island, which is like smoke. But again, fire in Dora 38. Moana came out on the day leaving 38 days left near. His wife is 38 years old at the time of the fire. I just noticed that Lauren's 71 because we talked about how the governor presented on the Jesuit order's 71st birthday, and Hawaii burned on the 353rd day of its age, which is the 71st prime. The 91 is also the 13th triangular number in light of Hawaii burning 13 days before its state anniversary, and 129 is 201 in base 8 counting. August 9th, the day it took over the news, like Hashien, is like Pearl Harbor is 60, like Order 60, another special number. A number related to 4, and this happened 4 days after Obama's birthday. If you spell out 4 as a word, it's 60. I've done some recent videos on the power of 4 and 60. Trump just got his 4th indictment in the 4th state, and the news broke that would happen on the 60th day of his age in light of the upcoming 60th presidential election, when essentially the American Civil War began to break out at the end of 1860 with the first state seceding from the nation. And we're talking about states right now as well, with Hawaii, the 50th and final state. But Sheehan's also 33 and 39 like Hawaii. I'm just really looking back at his wife's age now in real time. Lauren Hasheen's also 59 like the year Hawaii became a state. So yeah, her name is interesting in light of the fire happening while she's 38 years old. And she has the Virgin Mary's birthday, for the record, I noticed. September 8th. That's the Virgin Mary's birthday. Last year, the Queen died 201 days after her cooties diagnosis. You know what cooties is, the thing they don't want you to talk about. But she got the cooties 201 days before her death. And, of course, Event 201 was the cooties simulation right before it happened. Lauren Hasheen, 76, like the thing with Randy Meisner and the Eagles, and Don Henley turning 76 4 days before he died. Hotel California, The Last Resort, the Lahaina reference, so 76, and the Illuminati founded in 1776, like this country. You know, Lauren Hasheen's 59, the 17th prime as well. Remember, modern Freemasonry created by the Jesuits in 1717, then 59 years later, this nation created along with the Illuminati, again, 59 is the 17th prime. On The Rock's 17th birthday, Hawaiian Sophie came out with Jay-Z, where Jay-Z hangs at 50 seconds. Jay-Z equals 17, like Maui, like Kill, like Mason. In modern Freemasonry, Illuminati plans to infiltrate. So yeah, it seems that their wedding was very Illuminati, right? His grandfather's death. His grandfather died, you guys, on the day leaving 201 days left in the year. In 82. His grandfather died 41 years before this fire. 41 years. Pearl Harbor happened in 1941. Emphasis on 41. 9/11 was the new Pearl Harbor on 41 date numerology, blamed on Saudi Arabia hijackers. And Al-Qaeda equals 41 like Saudi Arabia. USA is also 41. 41 is the 13th prime number. Again, the original land grab by America many years before it became a state was done by the 13, and then this fire 13 days before Maui's 64th birthday. Again, if you're new here, the 4 base ciphers, I just want you to see how Kill and Maui are the exact same in every cipher. kill, Maui. Maui, the fire god. So Maui and kill. 44 with the alphabetic order, 17 with the alphabetic order numerology, 64 with the reverse alphabetic order, 28 with the reverse numerology. Again, the thing with The Rock and Jay-Z and where they fit in with this. And both of them are the two with the 62 Gematria names. The king he's portraying and the rap name Jay-Z. And if you missed what I just talked about with Fred Hampton's death, the day Jay-Z was born, and the last name Carter, and Lil Wayne, who's a Carter down in New Orleans where Kanye got famous, and the boxer Reuben Carter. If you missed that whole part too, again, there's so many details here. But Maui burns the month that Hawaii will turn 64 years old as a state. The riddle was 17 in The Rock. Maui is 44, like Kill, like military, like harp, like Moana, like Polynesia. That's why Polynesian people, if people are in the Polynesia region who are getting my videos, have that emergency supply ready. Research how bad of a flood zone you're in. Look into the history of the last time something drastic happened there. You might live in a town where there was a drastic flood or fire 44 years ago. Be aware of things like that with these psychopaths because they're keeping track. And that's why, looking at 38 days after what just happened in Hawaii, 44 days, 64 days, I won't be surprised if they're going to do something like that. Again, all of these numbers relate to fire and death. They work in these patterns. Gives you the ability to form a timeline for what could happen, worst case scenario. And remember, from having this knowledge, we helped people in all over the place when Valentine's Day came with the Valentine's Day blackouts from Portland to Texas to Atlanta. We had that date circled long in advance for why we expected weather warfare there. And again, it was all foreshadowed in a Public Enemy album put out with Arizona on the cover when Arizona's the Valentine's state. And Valentine's Day is 14/2, and that day was 142 days after that album came out. What you going to do when the grid goes down? I mean, what's the point of putting out an album like that? As these same people that are simulating viruses are simulating blackouts. Now we know PepsiCo just put out the blackout flavor after the Maui burst flavor. Now we got the pitch black flavor, actually, and they put out on MLK Jr.'s birthday, the only black American with a holiday named after him, the pitch black flavor on that day. These little riddlers and tricksters. Okay. But yeah, right here, I was just looking more into this thing with The Rock. It was a bit of a controversy when he was named to play this part, the king, because they were saying, why not get an actual Hawaiian actor? Why pick the Polynesian, The Rock, instead of, one of us, one of the ancestors? And you guys, this is part of the reason why, because everything that... You have to understand what the Illuminati is. It's a thing where, they control the printing press, so they're not stressed for money. What they get up and do each day is, what do we got to do to keep humanity under our thumb still? They're under our thumb right now. How do we keep them there? What do we do today to keep humanity under our thumb? Is it okay for us to burn them up with blowtorch winds? One of the guys in the room always, maybe not everybody in the Illuminati room really is down for it, but, they don't want to get their power, so it's part of the business. But there might be a guy in the room who's, you look at the people who get picked on the most, they tend to have darker skin. You know what I mean? Seems there's a very racist element, like I've been talking about that code of the whitewashing of history. I just got to get out short books like that. 20-page book on the whitewashing of history. I know how it could already be done. Books people will actually read with a few nice pictures in them. But yeah, what I'm also trying to say as I'm going along is I might be able to rewrite the 201 book into actually the Maui book and get the key concepts in there because it really does all come together through this. Anyway, Polynesia, notice how Polynesia is 116. The big conflict date with America overthrowing Hawaii wrongfully in 1893 was January 16th. And carried into the 17th, 116. Polynesia's 44, like Maui, like Harp, like Moana, like Kill. Again, like Lahaina. Lahaina's 44. Lahaina, 44. All these 44s. Lahaina, Harp. On the anniversary of the Harp patent, which was August 11th, the media was all focused on how Lahaina was all burned up. All these words. There's the Moana. So, anyhow, controversy with Polynesia. The Rock announced the film. Didn't I put it up here? Yeah, on April 3rd, on the 93rd day of the year, just like we had the overthrow back in 1893. And again, this fits in with the Japan thing and the atomic bomb. Japan 93, atomic bomb 93. I'm going to have to come back to that. Man, there's a lot of things that are interesting with that atomic bomb there. So again, from the announcement to the destruction, 127 days. Polynesia, where the Maui fire god comes from. The Rock playing Maui the fire god. Again, with tattoos on the character that are inspired by his grandfather, who got him in the wrestling business, who died on the day leaving 201 days left in the year, June 13th, the same day that was the act of major weather warfare last year. Oh, and I forgot to finish the thing with Bill Gates. Again, the weather warfare in Wyoming synced up with his book and show coming out and on climate change and how we need to do something radical. And again, his father being big in eugenics. And of course, what he said in his 2010 TED Talk, 2010, that TED Talk, Innovating to Zero, about how we got to get to zero emissions, and he introduced some interesting ways to do it. But at the end of that presentation, he also gets to how we need to build massive holes in the ground and burn spent nuclear fuel, which is abundant in Russia, Ukraine, and how that's the way to get to net emissions of zero because it can just burn underground for 50 years at a time and power cities as big as Los Angeles. And he set up his first experimental reactor in Wyoming near the national parks, which seems like a weird place to put, this thing that does pose danger next to all these national parks. I mean, if you don't know, Wyoming's one of the least populated states and most scenic and mountainous. It's an extremely beautiful place. So I'm sure part of the reasoning is because there's not a lot of people there, but it's also like, okay, you're trying to save nature by doing this experiment in a place where if it does go wrong, you could ruin. Anyway, all of that was happening, right? And then last year, Gavin Newsom, who's a little Jesuit, he reversed his decision. He reversed his decision on Diablo Canyon, Diablo the devil, the nuclear plant, remaining in California 201 days from his birthday. And anyway, Polynesia, the announcement of Moana, the Polynesian fire god, 127 days later, Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 127, the new Pearl Harbor in New York, buildings 1, 2, and 7, the new governor in New York, or not New York, but Hawaii, Josh Green, going with this Green New Deal. He's from Pennsylvania as well, like Joe Biden originally. Both men are from Pennsylvania originally. Joe Biden's from Scranton, Pennsylvania, home of The Office, the show that everybody loved, that ran 201 episodes. Scranton, home to one of the nation's 27 Jesuit universities. Had this big, huge Jesuit ritual killing at University of Idaho. They said he lived in apartment 201, and then they said they caught him in Scranton. Shooting was on, they said that the killing was on 1122 King Street, and then the news broke on the king's birthday, and then Joe Biden's hometown when the last Catholic president was killed at age 46, like he's number 46 on 1122. Presidents, kings, rituals, the Rock, the King. But yeah, here's his wife right now, born September 8th in the infamous year of George Orwell's 1984. 38. She's from Massachusetts. Isn't that where the witch trials were back in the day? Is that part of the joke? But yeah, August 26th, always a date to look out for. 11 days after the Jesuit order's birthday, the day leaving 127 days left in the year. If I'm in Polynesia, I am making sure I have an emergency plan, emergency supplies. I'm talking to my family about how it's sad that we got to live in times like these where psychopaths rule over us who have the keys to sophisticated technology and they think they have the right to just wipe us off the earth if we're sitting on the wrong plot of land. Plot that they got ideas for. Could be any kind of idea. Disaster capitalism. It's a real thing. Yeah, I know that they had that Green New City meeting at the start of the year, and the Hawaii mayor, we'll talk more about him. His name equals 201. Yeah, if you missed that clip, the Hawaii mayor said that Hawaii is going to be at the forefront of the climate change agenda and these smart cities. But yeah, when I heard him talking about Taco Bell on the news, and I went there and I saw that the address was 127, I thought, okay, I get it. What's Hinau mean? So I look up Hinau and I go, you got to be kidding me. A New Zealand timber tree? I mean, that's Polynesia, whose bark yields a useful dye. There's probably more to research about this dye and the history of it. Again, you can always go deeper. But trees burn, Polynesia, Maui, Hawaii, the rock, this perfect ritual, the same number again. You want to know what's so creepy about this, Truth Seeker? And this is why I've kept doing my work the way I have for a decade straight. Because I've just always had these signs that what I've been doing is right, and someday it's going to have the intended impact of stopping these psychopaths. But I had to go back because I remembered that I did a post on the Illuminati and the death of the Taco Bell founder back in 2017 when they were making fun of the Illuminati with their ads. If you guys remember the Taco Bell Illuminati ads. Hold on. Let me see. Let me pull up the post here. I know I got it. Might be on the other thread. Is this the link? I gotta find my post. Oh, okay. It's actually in this post right here. So again, Taco Bell that burned up in Lahaina was a bad sign for the more historic area once it went. And two weird things happened when I was looking more up about this. Just the original Taco Bell came up, which is on Firestone. It was established in '62 on Firestone. And then I was looking for something more specific on Maui, the Maui Taco Bell fire, and what came up as this must be the most recent Taco Bell fire that got attention in the nation, but the Montgomery Taco Bell fire. And again, the Montgomery thing was right in the news before Georgia and Hawaii, and Georgia and Montgomery are big Civil War states. And again, we took over Hawaii shortly after their Civil War concluded. Hawaii's. And again, just on 8/8, when always rituals with Trump in 88. Trump 88, last year Mar-a-Lago on 8/8. Always something big. It's just, again, it's because it's Illuminati, you guys. These are the people, Donald Trump's part of this Illuminati network, like Joe Biden, like Kanye West, who's rapping about it. He just saw George Tenet the other day at the CIA. The CIA established in a huge 201 ritual on the Pope's 201st day of his age. Catholic Pope equals 201, and that's who all these things serve. The Jesuits serve the Pope. Illuminati founded by the Jesuits at the start of the nation when America's founders were trying to get away from the Catholic Church's rule in Europe. The Illuminati's got to stay ahead of the curve. They know that this nation's coming. They got to get founded by the code. They got to get entrenched. They got to make sure they steer America in the right direction that will always benefit Rome. I'm telling you guys, that's what happened, and that's why this continues to happen. The people in Rome, this is what they see. The people in Rome are amazing. You guys know the first vaccine mandate came from the people in Rome? Yeah, look it up. First vaccine mandate ever came from the Catholic Church. The Jesuits, military order. But yeah, the Montgomery Taco Bell fire came up. I was like, what? That's wild. Is that coincidence? Downey, California, you guys, where the first Taco Bell was founded. It's going to turn 150 years old this year. Remember, Illuminati equals 150. The sun's 150 million kilometers away on average. The biblical flood ends after 150 days. Taco Bell founded in 62, turning 62 next year. Downey will still be 150 while Taco Bell's 62. And again, both numbers have to do with the Torah and the biblical flood. And again, this Maui fire is synced with the Maui rain destruction of March 8th, 2021. But the Taco Bell Illuminati mockery, notice, from Taco Bell's establishment, March 21st, which is the 80th day of the year, the rock equals 80, Bavarian Illuminati 80, Satan is 80. From the establishment to the fire was 141 days. Adam Weishaupt. Remember we said we'd come back to that. How Adam Weishaupt, 51 like the establishment date and 141. 75 like Catholic Church, like New World Order, like Order itself. It's another one, but 210's a lot like 201 and 21, which goes right back to Jesuit. But yeah, the Taco Bell Illuminati jokes. And oh, by the way, Bavarian Illuminati, the other original name. We talked about 188, like 18/8, like the day The Rock got married, how The Rock equals 80, like Bavarian Illuminati, like how Kofi Annan died at age 80 on this date. Bavarian Illuminati 127, 127, Pearl Harbor, 9/11. Now this. Other things too. I mean, this number's all over the place in tragedy. Again, I got books about it, presentations about it. We've been talking about it a long time. And now it's all over the place on Lahaina. And again, there's predictive programming. Once again, I mean, that's exactly what this book's about. Like laying out the ABCs of how conspiracy is a real thing and how with this knowledge you can see the agenda that's being pushed forth. And how, again, the first chapter of this book is why there's a 26-letter alphabet, how it's a tribute to this code of letters and numbers that goes back to at least Hebrew and likely back to Babylon, and how it's in the Bible, it's in our human bodies, it's in the stars, it's in what we understand about the relation between us and the stars, how the number 26 brings that all together. You guys know the star Hawaiian football player Tua from Hawaii? His name equals 206. Tua in his last name, which I still can't pronounce. 206, like there's 206 bones in the human body. The Maui fire was 206 days before his upcoming birthday. And now he plays in Miami, right? He's connected to Alabama, too, like Montgomery's hot. That's where he went to college. Did that big 13 ritual with 13 Alabama. But now he's in Miami, where The Rock began as, an athlete. Well, it didn't exactly begin, but he become a star. Star football player for the Miami Hurricanes was The Rock. Before he went to wrestling, which his grandfather and grandmother got him into, who both died by the code, the Illuminati code. But yeah, I mean, and again, the cipher that I always say is the most important outside the base ciphers is Jewish Gematria, which Derek's renamed Latin. It's this purple cipher on his calculator. Again, there's no other fast food company that has a connection to 201. So we've been talking about this for a while, looking back at the Taco Bell Illuminati mockery. And again, the 201 rituals are so deep with the Jesuits and the Illuminati. And one of the biggest Illuminati pawns on the world stage that so many people have fallen for somehow, even though it's such an obvious lie. Remember, 2 towers became 0 before they became 1 on 9/11, and then they passed the Patriot Act, and then the Patriots were the greatest football team there ever was. And Tom Brady was born in 1977, 201 years after the Illuminati and this country. And, they made a big deal when he got his 201st career win over the Rams, who he had so much career history against. And the Rams were in St. Louis back then. And for people who don't know, St. Louis University is a Jesuit school. And the first forward pass in football history, which gave birth to the quarterback position, was thrown by the Jesuit school, St. Louis University. Which is why also you had the huge Jesuit Michael Brown ritual just outside of St. Louis. Because, again, the Jesuits put their mark on the things they do, or the Illuminati, if you will. But Michael Brown and Black Lives Matter is another huge Jesuit operation. And that goes in with George Floyd, another 201 operation, and why the Confederate statues came down after his killing on Memorial Day, which came out of the Civil War. And then the only statue of a Confederate in D.C. of Albert Pike came down 201 days later on January 6th as the Confederate flag flew. And again, Confederates also 201. There's a whole bunch of 201 things I didn't write down, but that's why Trump was just in the Civil War capital, Montgomery, before the race brawl at Hotel 201, and then he's in trouble in Atlanta on the night that the Braves go to plus 201 in scoring over the Yankees, like the Yankees from the Civil War. And it was so perfect because by the end of the series between the Yankees and Braves, the Braves had 26 wins versus the AL, and in the symbolic game the night Trump got indicted, the Braves got their 26th all-time win against the Yankees, and where Yankees is 26, Braves is also 41, and they stayed on 41 losses. And again, USA's 41, and now this thing with Hawaii, 41 years after the death of The Rock, when Pearl Harbor was in 41. And we haven't even gotten to the Skull and Bones piece, but the 41st president was Skull and Bones. I'm taking longer. I meant to get to the Skull and Bones piece, I think, before I started this video within the first 5 minutes, so I definitely failed at that. But, again, Skull and Bones relates with the Jesuits, the Catholic Church. If you don't know how, I'll bring it all together. But all roads lead to Rome. And I just noticed, by the way, that theme they were using when Taco Bell was making fun of the Illuminati, Belluminati, 436, like the Great Flood. Again, 62, number of the Torah, number of flooding in Hebrew and in English. All the 62s with what just happened to Maui. The fire that synced up with the last flood. And what I'm worried is that when The Rock becomes 52, right? He's in his 52nd year of life. It could happen sooner. But, again, if you guys are new here, flood, earth, Enlil, devil, pope. I just want you to see the overlap between all these words. Again, 52-week calendar for the pope. If you don't know, the calendar we're on that says this fire happened August 8th, 2023. That's when it started. That's the Catholic Church's calendar named after the pope. That's the 52-week year. Pope has a lot of parallels with the devil. The devil has a lot of parallels with the Babylonian god of flooding and destruction on earth, which has a lot of parallels with Maui, who The Rock plays. The Rock's birthday is May 2nd, and next year, 2024, on May 2nd, he will turn 52. San Francisco has the movie The Rock. When The Rock's father died, it was a huge ritual with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in San Francisco, what they were doing in sports at that time. Covered all that. But again, Enlil, 52, like Earth, like flood. They're all 52. When Maui flooded, March 8th, 2021, that was a date with 52 numerology. 3 plus 8 plus 20 plus 21, 52. It was the worst flooding, they said, in Maui in 25 years. Notice the overlaps with 25 in all ciphers. In the reverse, you have overlaps with all except for Pope. Everything is 83. Maui flooded on the 8th day of the 3rd month. 8th of March. Genesis 8:3, where the biblical flood ends. After 150 days. Illuminati 150. Illuminati the other way is 120, and man's not supposed to live past age 120. Just by the way. We'll have to pay attention to Henry Kissinger. The guy with the most blood on his hands might live to be the oldest man in the world. Henry Kissinger might be 120 someday. He's one of these guys who thinks he has the authority to declare life and death. He looks at certain populations and say they're just useless eaters. Want to save the earth? Let's get rid of those losers. Somebody's going to watch this video and say, Zach, you say things like that all the time. I say the things I say to get people to think about why I'm so mad at the sleeping populace that continues to allow these things to take place and not help people such as myself, get out the word. Because like I've been saying for a decade, we're late in the game. If we don't stop this cabal that's a real thing that operates by this code, it could be you next. And there's been a lot of nexts since we've been making that point. And every time we're coming right back to this code and what cabal it is. The Jesuit Illuminati network. But you see how devil, Enlil, earth? I forgot to put fire up there. Let me put fire up there. Let me put Dora up there too, just so you can see how Dora and fire overlap. 3 out of the 4. But you see the 29 in fire? Exactly 29 months after that last flood was the fire. And when it flooded, it was the Rock's 311th day of his age. That's the number 201 in base 8 counting. 201 in base 8 counting becomes 311. Like event 201 was the pandemic simulation, and then the pandemic was declared on 311. Like the World Trade Centers, where 2 towers became 0 before they became 1. The first tribute in light for the fallen towers was on March 11th. Fukushima, Japan. Now we're back to Hawaii. How many more March 11s? Just look up all the March 11s in history. Terrorism acts, just big day. Big day, March 11th. But yeah, isn't it amazing how flood has that 83 in reverse, just going right with the biblical passage? And again, when Maui flooded, it was that day, 52 numerology, worst flooding in 25 years. Again, that's one of many examples where we've seen these same patterns. We've been talking about them since then, before then. Again, this book on weather warfare lays it out. Jesuit order birthday. It's like page 29 or something in that book where I make the point that if you really trace this back, it looks like the Jesuits are behind all this. I have way better research since then to prove my point. Again, when I look at this book now, I don't like it anymore. People still love this book. Some people think this is my best book. If you are new to this work, just reading the first 100 pages of this will do a world for you. But my problem is now just being much more advanced with the research. When I look at that book, I just feel like I'm watching, it's like you watch one of these new TVs, right? It's hard to go back and watch that TV from the 80s. It's like, wow, I used to think this was a great picture, but man, I can't even make out anything anymore. I'm used to seeing every pore of every actor. It's like that because we just know so much more now. But I noticed that after that Taco Bell burned in Montgomery, they opened it 8 months later. Again, eight's related to the sun because it makes a figure eight in the sky. It's a ball of fire. Now this on 8/8. Montgomery in the news with Maui. The M's, you know. M's the 13th letter. Kind of like how Maui burned 13 days before the state's birthday. Every alphabet that has an M in it, the word for Mason starts with an M. Look that up. It's a fact. And again, modern Freemasonry is a Jesuit creation. But this nation likes 13. 13 colonies, 13 stripes, 13 years of slave school. And again, Downey, where Taco Bell was founded, turned in 150. Later this year in October. Same month, Yale will turn 322. I like how on Google it says it's 118 feet above ground. And its coordinates are also the 118th meridian west. It's also on the 33rd parallel, where the first Taco Bell was. Okay, I think... actually there was more. Do you recall when the Taco Bell controversy was going on, the actor, or not the actor, the singer who did the song The Devil Went Down to Georgia, he was criticizing this commercial. And then, funny enough, The Devil Went Down to Georgia singer died 2 years before the Georgia Guidestones collapsed. And remember, the Georgia Guidestones collapsed 201 days after the Pope's birthday. Pope Francis, the first Jesuit Pope, the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican, which used to be a hospital built in tribute to Pope Leo, who died in the 201 ritual. Again, Catholic popes 201, like the Jesuit order. Pope Francis's birth name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, equals 201, like the founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola, equals 201. Again, a lot of 201 rituals with the Pope, but the Georgia Guidestones came down 201 days after his birthday. The Devil Went Down to Georgia singer died 201 days from his birthday. Devil and Pope have that same gematria as we just talked about. There's terminology in the Bible for the devil, that old serpent, which is 201, like the Holy Bible is 201. All these biblical rituals, if you've missed my work on where Sodom and Gomorrah fits in with the ritual they did on August 8th, again, it's all part of this puzzle. Everything I'm explaining so far, I'm going to figure out how to condense it into less than 50 pages. And that might just be the way. Instead of doing big books on 201, just like when major events happen, bring together the full picture through the number and just keep cementing it home. Because, I mean, imagine if I'm making books on these like videos and presentations we do. If all these are books in print. It's just another way to reach more people with potent information. People don't watch YouTube videos. They might read. However, there's a lot more people that watch YouTube videos. We got to find a bigger audience, though. Anyway. 201. And he said, don't criticize that Illuminati thing. He said, don't make fun of the Illuminati. There's also this bit about how they reopened a Taco Bell in Central Maui on June 18th of 2021. From the day they reopened it to the disaster was 111 weeks. And I know, have they changed the death toll yet? They had it on 111 for quite a while. Hawaii death toll. Let's see. Now we're at 110. What happened? We were on 111 the other day. The other day it was all 111. Now we're down to 110, the height of the World Trade Centers. You see all these numbers they have up here? So I see the 111s. Remember, 99's directed energy weapon. It happened on The Rock's 99th day of his age. The United States of America's 99. Named that on September 9th. 110's the stories in the World Trade Center. But yeah, they did have 111. So it was a day ago, 2 days ago, 111. So I don't see any new numbers bigger than that. So the highest they went was 111 so far. We know eventually it'll climb. But again, Hawaii's 111, right? Hawaii's got the 33, 39, 111 like New York. And September 11th leaves 111 days left in the year. And again, Pearl Harbor, the new Pearl Harbor, buildings 1, 2, and 7, the date 12-7, everything we've been talking about. The Taco Bell address 127, Manhattan Project, big bombs, Japan, Hawaii. military history period. But yeah, 111 weeks later. But notice also the 25 months. 25 months, right? We just talked about 25. Fire's 25. Death is 25. Taco Bell, which might be closer to death than you know, is 25. And the one that they reopened, if I didn't make the point about that, the one that they reopened, it was on the name of the street that's after the king. The king. The king whose name equals 62. King, I know I can't pronounce the name right. I saw some of you guys write out how to pronounce it. Sometimes I'm not even good at interpreting that. I just need to hear it, but I'll just try to say his name. King Kamehameha. Oh, and by the way, somebody left a comment that attack, that's the name of an attack in Dragon Ball Z. That came out of Japan in 86. Like Hiroshima on 8/6. We're talking about The Rock's grandmother's death in 86. But yeah, Dragon Ball Z. I don't really know anything about Dragon Ball Z, but if you look it up, it says like that's the most powerful attack in the whole game. The Kamehameha. Something just slipped into my mind that I was watching the news and they were interviewing a man who said he narrowly survived the fire, and I was watching and it didn't make sense to me. That's why I want to get out to Hawaii and talk to actual people. The guy's in a tank top, right? So you can see his shoulders, and like the way he's being interviewed, he's at an angle, you can see his shoulders and like this much of his skin, right? Everything looks totally fine. I don't see any bandages or anything. But what the news showed is they point down to, there's like a, they have them in cities where it's like a strip of concrete with a really low flowing amount of water. Like, it might be not even an inch high. And this was a really narrow strip of concrete with low water, but the guy said that if that wasn't there, he would have died because he said it was that water that kept him cool enough to survive the flame that went over him in Maui. And here he is with his, you can see his back and his skin, and there's no burns. I imagine if you barely survive like a horrible flame, you're probably... And in a little tiny thing of water, I just can't imagine that's... So, again, I have questions, because it's like, why are they showing this on the news, which makes zero sense? I don't believe this guy. This guy narrowly survived, he says. He said that he could feel the heat, but then it doesn't make sense. Unless he's just making it more dramatic for the cameras than it was, and he's someone who was there. But anyhow, maybe the people that were actually there aren't able to be interviewed because it's like the other reports have said they're Pompeii. Anyway, June 18th, the day it reopened, 111 weeks before the disaster, 25 months. That's the 169th day of the year. And what is 169? It's the square root of that number is 13. Again, it burns up 13 days before its U.S. statehood. Taco Bell, this American corporation. Maui, a territory that was taken over, by the manifest destiny idea. Again, you look into that history of the 1893 overthrow, the group that overthrew referred to themselves as the 13. And again, in Pepsi Company, biggest food company in North America, took over Mountain Dew in 1964, the year of Hurricane Dora. Again, Hawaii's turning 64. Maui equals 64 like Kill. The guy who created Dora the Explorer, again, he turned 64 years old. 64 years old this year. He turned 64 this year. Synced up with the storm. In fact, he turned 64, and the storm happened on his 97 days from his birthday, and hurricane equals 97. And again, so does Carter, and that goes with Reuben Carter, the boxer known as the Hurricane, and Fred Hampton dying on his 97th day of his age on Jay-Z's birthday. He was part of this Hawaiian Sophie thing connected back to Kanye and Barack from Hawaii. Kanye getting famous again after Katrina and the hurricane because of the controversy. Hold up, though. Where is the post from? I know I linked this post. Maybe I didn't. Or here's my old post on Taco Bell. Okay, I was making the point earlier about how I get these confirmations that I know what I'm doing. It is not incorrect. Look at this. Watch where this post goes. This is December 16th, 2017. Funny enough. So I covered this maybe days after they'd started doing this. We should go back and find, man, if this advertising campaign started on Pearl Harbor Day, I'm going to be sick. I'm going to be sick. I covered this December 16th, 2017. I feel like it had been going on for a week before I finally covered it. I'm just looking at how, like, the numbers you see 2-0 right there, and then you have the triangle with the 1, right? If you guys don't know this, here's another 201 that's real. Great Pyramid of Giza. 201. Go look up how many remaining layers of stone are on the Great Pyramid of Giza. You might find that it's 201. And again, Order of Illuminati, they use the pyramid as the symbol, 201. I mean, I didn't catch that at the time because I wasn't as dialed into 201 in 2017, that's for sure. Where did it go? You see how they got the 20 there and then the space with the pyramid and the 1? I mean, am I tripping or is that interesting? Because again, it goes right back to the pyramid and the Illuminati. And remember, if I write out Limestone Road, it equals 201. And you know why I did that? Because the pyramid is made out of limestone, and Joe Biden's wife and daughter died in a huge 201 ritual on Limestone Road, and then Beau Biden died at age 46, 201 days before the Pope's birthday. And then Joe Biden became number 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, and had the Jesuit priest Leo Jeremiah O'Donovan do the swearing in. So, I mean, you got Illuminati connected to Joe Biden. You got Illuminati connected to Trump, Obama, The Rock, all these people, right? That's how you can see. This is the Illuminati that's doing all this. Taco Bell, same numbers, all this stuff intersecting. So, let me come back. We haven't even gotten to the damn mayor yet. I'll put his name up there, though. Mayor Richard Bison, 201. Okay, this Taco Bell thing. So, there are interesting things here. The Federal Reserve was established in a big Jesuit Illuminati ritual once upon a time. I'm going to skip over some of this stuff, though. Because I want to get to... Oh, Taco Bell's... Yeah, that's right. They're Yum Products, which is also 13. Some more 13. But hold on. Glenn Bell, the founder's 39, like taco, like Hawaii, like how The Rock's wife's 38 years old, meaning she's in her 39th year of life. But you see how Glenn William Bell is 86? He died at age 86. Blood Sacrifice is 86. Hiroshima got 86. The Rock's grandma got 86. Something I just brought up and it already slipped out of me with the 86. But symbol, triangle, pyramid, they're all 86. Eye of Providence, the famous, symbolism on the dollar full of Illuminati symbolism in 13s. Eye of Providence, 86, on top of 13 layers of bricks. Eye of Providence also equals 238. And August 26th is the 238th day of the year, leaving 127 days remaining. Again, the next 127 that's really coming up that I can spot is August 26th. And they just had the big joke with Afghanistan after the very Jesuit Illuminati contrived wars after 9/11. And again, remember the government collapsed on the Jesuit order's birthday, August 15th in Afghanistan, and then the Terrorism Act 11 days later that killed the 13 Americans. The 13 Americans. Glenn Bell was also born on September 3rd, 3/9 or 9/3. The Rock announced the latest Moana live action on the 93rd day of the year, 127 days before the disaster. Again, Japan 93, atomic bomb 93, the 93 World Trade Center bombing, Manhattan Project, the invasion of Hawaii in 1893, Order of Illuminati 93, the sun 93 million miles away, which burns. Taco Bell was also established on an 86 date numerology, but here's the trip. I go back and look at my old post, and again, I just brought it back to, one of the most iconic symbols in everybody's mind. It's that of warfare, the mushroom cloud. And again, just the reminder of Hiroshima, right? And how in the recent Batman film, which is connected with Skull and Bones, it's getting older now, but Hines Ward, he's the only surviving player on the field. Number 86, plays for that Jesuit Rooney team. Hines Ward had 86 touchdowns for his career as well. Hines Ward playing in Hines Field. Corporations running this nation. Yellow mustard, yellow jerseys. Batman, black and yellow like the Steelers. Again, Batman with the skull and bones reference. The 3-2-2. You see Stadium 3-2-2. We're going to talk about 3-2-2 next. And where it fits in with this whole Illuminati structure and Kabbalah and just... Anyway. Hines Ward, only survivor in that scene, symbolic scene. And again, it just reminds you of things like this, right? Now it's all coming together with the latest act in that part of the world, this time Hawaii. And sadly, it'll come together again. These people will continue to do the same thing over and over until they're stopped, until people stop supporting their system. Imagine everybody is out of the fast food places. They're not spending their money on the theaters, on these designer brands. They're not about being consumers anymore. This whole consumer thing is over. We're not supporting any of this shit anymore. In fact, what we're going to do is figure out how to organize and network as a community and live together off this abundant land where nature can provide. Nature once provided for our ancestors. Think about all the ancestors in Hawaii who've lived on that island for a long time, only to be feeling like they're being destroyed and taken from their land not long after because of everything that's happening ever since America landed on its shores. How many other people have the same reality from Europeans coming to their land? You know what I mean? And I don't just want to say Europeans, but that's what it is in recent history. And there were other parts of history where it's been people other than Europeans. But recognize right now, it's a very European, Jesuit, Catholic system running the show. It's on the backs of other things that came before it, but this is it. And we need to stop supporting this. Because what I said is true. The world is full of abundance. And, we learn to work together and cooperate and share. Next thing you know, we're not having to slave away our whole lives for a 401k that can be taken away overnight. My dad's just saying, like, his retirement account doesn't have a lot, but just in recent days, what he has in there, his investments just dropped like 40,000 in recent days. And just all sorts of people looking at that. That's the money they have to live on the rest of their life. He had a feeling he wanted to get out, and I told him, I said, I think by the fall it could be even worse. But his advisor was telling him to stay in there. And he just had this inkling like, maybe I should put in something more safe right now, the craziness. And since he had that thought, just down 40,000. Now what do you do? Do you pull out minus 40, or do you hang around and maybe get it back, or do you drop even further? Again, this is the world we have to live in, right? This financial world where things are really out of our control. And they're actually in the control of these psychopaths. They control the markets, manipulate them the same way, documenting this stuff all the time. These people are in control of a lot of things because they've made this system for us. They print the money. They control what message on the screen. They control the amount of points you read that the stock went up or down. And it is all number ritual. Been proving that in spades all over the place. But isn't it funny that that's where my post went to? Just going back and looking at this Taco Bell Illuminati thing when I was breaking this down. Just symbols and who the cabal is. I'm always making the same points. They know how to plant seeds in the mind's eye, and they do it with death and destruction. Because things that terrorize people, those are things that stay in the mind. That's why you remember bad things more than you remember good things. If you guys heard TFR the other night, Sweet Lady does it all the time. She'll be busting up laughing, talking to her family on the phone on Wednesday nights. She talks to her family on Wednesday nights since that's the night I do TFR. And so often you can hear her laughing, but I don't know if you could hear her this Wednesday night, but it was like the loudest she was ever laughing. I was like, what is so funny? But then I go talk to her and she couldn't remember what was funny. She always forgets, If it was something bad, she'd remember. She's just always having a good time talking to her family, but people remember bad things more than they remember good things. Why are we that way? But yeah, what are the odds of that too? Now we're back to the Taco Bell Illuminati in the biggest way we've talked about it since 2017, and we're talking about the latest, essentially Hiroshima, Nagasaki, in a land that was secured for these reasons, for military purposes. And again, the world is a military agenda. By the way, you guys, again, about reducing population and moving people into smart cities. All of this is part of Agenda 21 and 2030, and the Agenda 21 signing date was June 13th, 92, the day leaving 201 days left in the year. And it was in Rio de Janeiro, which equals 201. And remember, it was in 92. The thing about 92 is 92 has to do with big bombs. What is it? What's my periodic table element? Uranium. Uranium, radioactive chemical element of the actinoid series of the periodic table, atomic number 92. It's important in nuclear fuel. I really do think this is part of. Oh my God! That's right. It's also 238. Aya Providence 238. August 26th, the 238th day of the year. If you're in Hawaii, if you're anywhere really in this world, you don't know what place is going to be the next Maui. I'm guessing that Polynesia's got it coming. I think Hawaii's got it coming again. Probably even worse in the future, but next time flooding. But yeah, again, this August 26th date, we really got to look at this one because I forgot about it. 238's connection with uranium as well. But the point I'm making about 92, again, Bill Gates has said that the future to zero emissions, climate change, solving the problem, which is Agenda 21 and 2030, he said it's through nuclear energy and this burning of spent nuclear fuel. He says the world is full of this spent nuclear fuel. We can burn it till the end of time and power all of our cities, and we'll do it underground, and there will be zero emissions, and it's the way. Based on everything that Bill Gates has been a part of, I won't throw everything out. I'll consider that. But I know the way this gang's operating, and these people are not nice, and I'm just looking at the whole nefarious thing because, again, he in that where he explains that in his TED Talk in 2010, he talks about how so much of this is in Russia, Ukraine. And we just went into Russia, Ukraine in a huge 201 ritual. And Biden and Putin talked about it before it kicked off on Pearl Harbor Day. 201 days after the Jesuit Ignatian year began. August 26th, man. But 92, the year they signed off on this. If that's the way, okay. Think about how these people are psychopaths. Like I've said, it says in Agenda 2030 to eliminate all poverty by 2030. And these people are crazy. To them, eliminating poverty could mean killing poor people. Just getting rid of them. There, they don't exist anymore. We got rid of it. We did it. We checked the box. Give us a star. That's how these people are. The ends justify the means. That's what just happened to that neighborhood in Maui. That was the ends justify the means. They got a plan. They're going to achieve it. Blowtorch wins. That's what we'll say in the news. Nobody questions anything anyway. Everyone will forget it by next Monday. Wasn't quite true for Maui, but just watch. Next event comes. What happened to Maui? Nobody remembers Maui. Remind me what happened to Maui. That's the way America is. Most people already aren't even paying attention. They're ready for this week's new episode of their favorite sitcom to come out. August 26th, 238th day of the year. But I was saying, again, you have to remember, let me put it up on the screen as I talk about it. Ground Zero, 127, right? Oh, God, Ground Zero is also 60. Oh, my God. I was missing it, you guys. I was missing out Ground Zero had the 62 with all the 62s. Doesn't it all make more sense now? Isn't that how I started? 62, 127. The Rock's playing the king whose name equals 62. Jay-Z, 62. Hawaii, Kanye recorded his 808s album there. It burns on his 62nd day of his age right after Barack becomes number 62, who's connected to Kanye through Chicago. And remember I was saying how in Chicago they genocided the native people on something that happened on August 15th, the Jesuit order's birthday. And now you have the governor on August 15th in Hawaii talking about how it's like you can't even identify people and the whole ritual with that we covered the other day. I called his office. If you guys missed my call to the governor's office, one guy hung up on me. I called back. Another guy picked up, and he listened for a long time until I was done. But hopefully they're watching the YouTube channel and getting caught up on more. But we talked about all these 62s, right? And then how Taco Bell was founded in 62, where all the 127s fit in. Ground Zero, 62 and 127. Man, I got to eat some blueberries. And that's the thing going on out here, too. It's better today. It's getting better today. But, in 2020, the year of the mask, we were in smoke for a whole month out here on the West Coast with the fires like crazy. We started getting smoked the night of the Jesuit order's birthday. Had a really smoky day, August 16th. Yesterday wasn't very good. Today's not quite as bad. But, man, 62, 127. I almost missed it. You know what else? I just want to say the 46. 46 mayors, right? Kanye just turned 46. Chicago's 46. The Obama-Kanye connection through November 2008 in Chicago. Again, Chicago won their only Super Bowl with the revolutionary 4-6 defense, 46-10. I know Chicago has more in common with Ground Zero. It reminds me of Larry Silverstein and the World Trade Centers and Chicago Tower. It's 108 stories like the Cubs broke the 108-year curse, like the 108 double stitches on a baseball with Major League's 108. But remember the 46. The word chaos is 46. It's also 89, like how it really took over the news on 8-9. There was something with 19 I forgot in this one. Ordo ab chao, the Latin for order out of chaos, 86. But my oh my. So 62, very clear how it fits in. 127, very clear how it fits in. Again, The Rock announcing the movie 127 days earlier, where all this comes together. Polynesia, Maui, fire gone. The 46, that's clear. The 143, we just saw how it overlaps with Chicago. Scottish Rite of Freemasonry has the 143. And it's a number that comes up from time to time. It might be something else I'm overlooking here. When JFK died, he died in here. Let me put up Scottish Rite of Freemasonry 143. It's also 120. Yeah, because it's also 127. Okay, hold on. This is making more sense, right? I'm gonna get this right for the first time ever after 10 years doing this. Okay. Scottish Rite has the overlap with Ground Zero and also Bavarian Illuminati. And again, the Illuminati wanted to infiltrate the Scottish Rite. And the highest degree of the Scottish Rite's 33. That's why their headquarters in D.C. has the 33 columns that are each 33 feet tall at the address 1733, where Mason is 17 and Masonry is 33. And again, on 9/11, Ground Zero, it all came down 33 years after construction began, and the Masons are builders. New York and Hawaii are both 33. Only 4 of the 50 states have a 33 connection. The first state, Delaware. The 6th state, Massachusetts, goes with Kennedy in 33. And again, I say JFK died 143 days after meeting with the Pope, or is 144th day since meeting with the Pope, the total span. And he was killed in Dealey Plaza, named after a Scottish Rite Freemason, in a massive Jesuit ritual. The 32nd degree of the Scottish Rite shares the motto with the Jesuits in Marum Dei Gloriam. I can't believe I didn't pick up on that sooner. That's how I should have started. Yeah, if you guys want to remake this video, teach it to somebody, teach it with that 62-127. The Rock, the King character, 62. The announcement of Moana, 127 days prior. Jay-Z, okay, Jay-Z, Rockefeller Records. That's another 97. Again, he's the biggest beneficiary of Biggie dying in 97. 97 days from the Puff Daddy album that he's on, with a Young G's perspective, talking about how people aren't ready for this new world order. You never heard Jay-Z's first song that people heard him on? It's about the new world order. Facts. Kanye's bragging about being CIA. Huge 201 network. Catholics in action. Barack. Yeah, we got him. Okay. Check out the mayor, though. Mayor Richard Bison. Buffalo better beware. They did that big 201 ritual on Buffalo on Israel's birthday, remember? Big 201 mass shooting. Valdi had one of those, too. Vegas had one of those. Oh, my God. How have I not hit the Vegas thing yet? I'm doing a horrible job with this presentation. Oh, it's right below there. Oh, I know where it is. Okay. Mayor Richard Bison, 93, right? The Rock announcement on the 93rd day of the year. I keep saying the same stuff over and over. The invasion in 1893. 114 is like Pearl Harbor and World War. Rumors of World War right now. Again, Biden and Putin met 201 days after the Jesuit Ignatian year began on Pearl Harbor Day. His name is written Richard T. Bison Jr., so I'm just taking what they wrote. He's born on the 59th day of the year, like Hawaii State in 59. He's 61. Notice he was born in 62. He was born in 62. He's 61, so he's in his 62nd year of life. He'll turn 62 next year. The year The Rock turns 52, the flood number on 5/2. The year Taco Bell turns 62. At the very least, you guys, we figured out the Illuminati really well before they blowtorch wind us. So I hope that provides you some comfort. Again, you guys, I mean, don't live in fear, but live with your head on a swivel. And if you're new to this and it just overwhelms you, you got to get over it, because that's the problem. That's why people don't go down the path of looking into what they need to go into, because they start getting these feelings of weakness and fear and anxiety, and they just quit. We got to be stronger. We got to look at what's going on and try to stop it. But Richard T. Bison Jr., 177. The Jesuit order is 177 forwards, 201 in reverse. In fact, here, let me show you a better one. You see how weather control and the Jesuit order are a perfect overlap in 3 out of the 4 ciphers? And again, the governor's talking about this on the Jesuit order's birthday. The first act of weather warfare admitted to on the Jesuit order's birthday, August 15th, 1952, meaning it was the 71st anniversary this year. And some 71s that we've covered in this include Hawaii getting wrecked on the 353rd day of its age, the 71st prime. The word history is also 114, like Pearl Harbor and World War. And they're saying this is the worst natural disaster fire in more than a century. So that's history. That's something that goes down in the history books. And in the history books, if these people control to rule the world, it'll be about how their heroes stopped climate change and, gave us the Green New Deal, and life was forever better. And people don't know any better because they're so chemically dumbed down that they really do just enjoy the life of looking at the screen all day and choosing between slop 1 and slop 2. Delivered right to their door on their weekly provided stipend. Yeah, I covered how the grandfather died, The Rock's grandfather died in 82, on the day leaving 201 days left in the year, 41 years before 2023. Again, his tattoos are what Moana used for the tattoos on the character, Disney. And you know what? With regards to 41 years in Disney has that. Oh, I'm tripping. I thought Disney had the 41. I'm mistaken. Has the 76, the 86. But Walt Disney, his name is Walter Elias Disney, if you look it up, 201. Him and his brother, I got to go back and look. There's something about him and his brother in 201. Disney World in Florida's off exit 201. That one's called Walt Disney World, which is also 201. Remember, the 204's there, and the name of the king that The Rock's playing is also 204. It's 62 and 204. And from the anniversary of the U.S. taking over Hawaii to the tragedy was also 204 days. And the 204 and 201 is interesting because where this whole thing of letters and numbers comes from, Jewish mysticism is also 204 and 201. We've seen those numbers come together with guys like Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks has a whole lot of 201 in his career, and he was recently doing something for a federal death, 204 days from his birthday. You'd be amazed at the way Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks drop the 201s. Blow your mind. Steven Spielberg does it with Tom Cruise, too, in War of the Worlds. These are all things we talked about many a times if you're new here. But, man, there's just so much information to unpack. Here, the skull and bones thing. But let's really make this point. Again, Pentagon construction began in 41. You see how skull and bones is 149, 41, 20, 276? We're going to make sense of all of these numbers. But again, I just want you to remember, Pearl Harbor in 41. World Trade Centers, the new Pearl Harbor on 41 date numerology, blamed on Al-Qaeda, which equals 41, like Saudi Arabia, like USA, again, the 13th prime, these recurring numbers. The 41st president was in Skull and Bones, George Herbert Walker Bush. His birthday is June 12th, the day leaving 202 days left in the year, which is the DC area code 202. His son, who's the president, his birthday is July 6th, 76. Skull and Bones is known as Order 322. The Georgia Guidestones fell down on 7/6 on George W. Bush's 76th birthday, and the erection date was 322, March 22nd. One of the stories out of Hawaii is... Let me close these other windows so I don't get distracted by them. Got too many tabs. But one of these other stories is the police chief of Maui, who was also the police chief who oversaw the Vegas shooting. And recall the Vegas shooting. 201s all over the place. Huge ritual. And the thing everyone should really remember about Vegas is how many times the police had to rewrite the timeline for what happened. The media kept saying, oh, police rewrite timeline for event. And I mean, the story just radically changed as time went on. So it's like, okay. How can the story change this many times and this drastically? What is this? This isn't a cover-up? Story just keeps getting rewritten for what happened. Times, events. You guys remember that? Go back and look at how many times the Vegas story was rewritten. So who was in charge of that? This guy was. So now this guy who, oversaw one of the worst disasters in U.S. history, who had to keep rewriting the timeline so we never got a clear picture of what really happened. I mean, we did in our community because we predicted that date in a major U.S. tragedy before it happened, which is a fact. If you don't know that, they deleted my channel shortly before that date came for the first time. It's been deleted 20-some times since, but I was emphasizing all year why at that time period we were going to see something really awful happen. Ended up being the Vegas shooting. It had to do with Yom Kippur and atonement for your sins, only for Sin City to get blasted. There's something to say about that because Yom Kippur has the 144 in it, right? Yom Kippur is 144 and 54, like Jesuit Order, which is a Catholic Jewish alliance. And we didn't really hear about Maui here in the States until the day after the fire, August the 9th, the day leaving 144 days left in the year, and it was compared to the worst tragedy since Pearl Harbor Day, another 144. And, of course, we just have been talking about nonstop how important 144 is to Jesuit terrorism and assassinations. We were talking about it all day on August 9th. Only for the day to end with an Ecuadorian presidential candidate assassination. And he was born in 63 and killed 63 days from his birthday, like JFK killed 144 days from the Pope in 63, like the Illuminati 63, which was created by the Jesuits. See how the Illuminati is also 153 like Jesuit Order? See how Ambassador Hotel, where Bobby Kennedy was killed, is 153 and he was dead at 144 in the morning? And now what they're doing with his son, RFK Jr., getting in the race 144 days from the Superior General's birthday. Anyway, the Skull and Bones piece of this. Again, Skull and Bones gets their symbolism from how the Templars buried their dead in an ossuary after decomposing the body and turning it into bones. And the Templars are the old military order of the Catholic Church. The Jesuits are the new military order. And notice that from the day of the Vegas shooting, October 1st, 2017, the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting on the day leaving 91 days left in the year, that there might be a 91 in this too because Harp's got that 91 in it, the 13th triangular, again, 13 days before the state's birthday. But 2,137 days later, which is the 322nd prime number, the number of Skull and Bones, Order 322. And this year, Yale will turn 322. And did I forget to mention that Yale's going to turn 322 62 days after the Maui fire? I might have forgot to mention that as well, to go with all these other 62s and Ground Zero and the fact that a Skull and Bones guy was in office when 9/11 happened. Bush. But ABC News, their debunking video for the conspiracy theories, what actually happened, where they just show the power line that was down that started the grass fire that got put out. I mean, that story doesn't make sense. They thought it was out because it was all the way out, but then the winds came and then the whole town just burned down. So the power line that got put out, it doesn't make sense. I mean, if it's put out, the wind shouldn't start it. Shouldn't start it back up if it's put out. People who work in the fire industry know what they're doing. I mean, controlled burns and all this, people aren't dummies. Did you guys see that MSNBC had somebody come on saying that they didn't put out the fire to save water? It's like, come on, man. But yeah, their story debunking, it's 3 minutes and 22 seconds. That's 202 seconds, like Skull and Bones is 202. And we see this all the time. If you're new here, I mean, you just pay attention. This is stuff we're talking about all the time. The little rituals, the timestamps, the mockery. Kabbalah, Genesis 3:22, about knowing good and evil. The verses in the New International Version and the King James Version, the Genesis 3:22, the reference to the tree of life from Kabbalah, 3 pillars, 22 paths. Both verses up through knowing good and evil, where it takes a pause. Both verses equal 322 in Gematria. Both Bible versions for 322. Ancient mystery religions, which includes Kabbalah, where this comes from, equals 322. Hermeticism, part of that, about everything carrying a vibration, energy. This huge thing, shocking on 88, energy weapons. Energy equals 88, like weapon, like laser. Joe Biden said he's laser focused on Maui. That was his quote. Joe Biden's laser focused, you guys. Lasers. Look at it. Lasers in the same cipher as weapon, in the same cipher as energy. They're all 88. The hip-hop rituals, right? What's his name? Daystar Peterson, Tory Lanez. Got arrested in an 88 ritual, got sentenced to prison the day Maui was burning up. Going with this 50th hip-hop anniversary and how the 808 drum machine is what started hip-hop, and Kanye's got the Heartbreaks and 808 album. Again, hip-hop, 50th anniversary, 50 state, major rituals. Rapper is another 88 word for the record. Hip-hop is HH, the 8th letter, like Obama and Kanye in the year 08. In November, the 11th month, the master plan. But yeah, this cop, who was in both scenes, 2,137 days apart, the 322nd prime. Again, that's the number of skull and bones. Very special number, Kabbalah number. Look at how his name, John Pelletier's 149 and 202, like skull and bones. Watch the movie Enemy of the State with Will Smith that came out before 9/11, which is pretty much telling you what happened after 9/11. It's kind of, that movie was like predictive programming for what would happen in America. If you've never seen Enemy of the State, you got to watch it and pay attention. At an hour and 49 minutes, Will Smith looks like at his watch. Hour and 49 minutes into the film, and the time's 3:22. Watch the movie and check me on that and tell me I'm wrong. And we've talked about where these numbers come together a million times. Again, it wasn't an accident that Dave Martinez stayed on 149 losses as the MLB manager in his 322nd game. No, it told us why they beat the Astros in Game 7 138 days after Trump's birthday. Exactly what did happen in the World Series. In the 115th, after Trump had the ritual with the 115th Congress and Steve Ray, the Nationals announcer, because it was all foretold in the rigged show that is. But Skull and Bones is also known as the Brotherhood of Death. Notice the 187, like George Washington, like Washington, D.C., like 1214. George Washington died unexpectedly on December 14th or 1214. 1214, 187, like December 14th, like Society of Jesus, like Holy Roman Empire. All those 187s. And look at what day the new Moana film is going to come out with The Rock. In 2025, the year that They Live projects. And remember, They Live came out 201 days from Roddy Piper's birthday, and he died on the anniversary of Ignatius Loyola. Mr. 201 himself, the founder of the Jesuits, and he tweeted on the Jesuit Order recognition date that They Live was a documentary. But the new Moana film comes out on the day leaving 187 days left in the year, which is another day where fateful things happen that we're so often talking about. 2025. Amazon gave us Lockdown 2025, SPARS 2025, Bill Gates and co. gave us. The George Floyd thing seems to point to 2025, as I've been talking about in 2020. Goes with the biblical Great Tribulation theme, when the world's on fire. For all the people who say, well, why would they participate in this? Again, you guys, the world's a big place. They're not going to put the whole world on fire, but they're going to put the world on fire in a lot of places where a lot of people live to make a point, to get the emissions down. And again, August 9th, the day this took over the news, go forth and set the world on fire. There's a lot of quotes online that say Ignatius Loyola wrote that. He didn't write in English, but the Jesuits say, the Jesuits fight this and say that that's not an accurate translation of the quote. So, you can say that's a coincidence, but look at all the Jesuit shenanigans worldwide with 144. And again, for this to be on the news being compared to Pearl Harbor Day on August 9th, the day leaving 144 days left in the year, I'm not sure that, the accidental translation, go forth and set the world on fire with 144. I I learned about that before I saw them trying to counter that message, and I only saw them trying to counter that message after we were putting this out, talking about other. Look into fires, you guys. The Jesuits have been suspected of starting the London fire, Chicago fire. Chicago fire. Obama. Let's go back and look at that actually here in a minute. Yeah, there's people in history that have blamed the Jesuits for a lot of these fires because these people are psychopaths. People have been knowing these people are psychopaths for a long time, that they do crazy shit for their agendas. And you have to understand, if these people are like taking things that go back to Babylon, I mean, there's a lot of beliefs. There's beliefs that you got to burn people for your God to keep your power in the world, your place in the world. These people might really think, I mean, they are a spiritual order. Not might, they are. They're doing this shit for spiritual purposes, as wicked as they seem. These people have a method to their madness. And it is very number-based, just like how the fourth book of the Bible's Numbers. Written by Moses. Like Moses Malone dead 4 years before Kobe, when in Exodus 4, Moses' staff gets turned into a snake. Jordan better look out. Moses Malone dead at 60. Kobe dropping 60 in his last game versus Utah, the state that drafted Moses. Michael, 6-0 in the finals. He won 2 of them over Utah, and he's 60 right now. Ooh, man. You better watch out, Michael. They just put out a movie about how much money you made for Nike. That big Saturn swoosh, when Saturn's the Grim Reaper. The sickle of Saturn is where the Grim Reaper scythe comes from, if you didn't know that. Saturn has that Gematria, like Order of Illuminati. Saturnian order and an Order of Illuminati overlap with the Jesuit order. Overlap with Jorge Mario Bergoglio, the first Jesuit pope who's born on Saturnalia. It's interesting how the numbers of the Sun and Saturn come together. Heliocentrism's 201, Saturn worships 201, the Sun 93 million miles away, Saturn 93 like Saturnian order. Again, these objects in the sky. Saturn's very important to the ancients because out of the objects that move in the sky, Saturn's the most distant planet. So, it's the 6th planet. I don't want to go too far off. Confederate 201, again, all that crap. Where the Civil War ties in with Hawaii and the King of Hawaii history and America taking over. But yeah, I got when I saw this and the 322 thing, I got the wise idea to measure to Yale's upcoming 322nd birthday. Again, Yale's going to turn 322 this year, where Order 322 Skull and Bones is out of, and it's October 9th, and that is 62 days after August 8th. When again, all these 62s come together in the ritual. So I don't think we got to ask us who's really behind the slop at Taco Bell that all the youths are addicted to because of the advertising. I swear to God, anytime I see a Taco Bell commercial, I'm like, that makes me want to eat the food even less. How is this working on people? Man, they got it, don't they? But yeah, Skull and Bones. Oh, how could I forget? Hold on. Remember Paul Walker? Let's just talk about Paul Walker, too. He died 5 years to the day of George Herbert Walker Bush, who was in Skull and Bones, and Paul Walker starred in the Illuminati movie, The Skulls. This post was about how this was on the anniversary of Paul Walker's death and George Herbert Walker Bush's death. And if you don't know, I did predict that George Herbert Walker Bush would die at age 94, and he would not live past November 30th. And he died on that exact day as it got late in the day. And it was amazing when that happened because it showed me how many people were on the fence about my work, obviously, because that video I put out, it was back when I could get views. That video got 1 million views within 24 hours. And, well, it took more than that to get 1 million. It was nearly at 1 million views within 24 hours, though. It got a ton of views. And it made my book, Letters and Numbers, the ebook version of this, just like sell. I'd never seen anything like it. If I could get exposure like that, you guys, we'd be bigger than CNN. I made so much money off that book until they stopped the feed from going viral. And you could tell when it stopped because then the sales stopped coming in. But yeah, it showed me. I was like, wow, these people are buying my book because Bush died on November 30th because people didn't watch it. I said that would be the case before John McCain died. And then when John McCain died, I showed how it was all connected. Again, two politicians with similar history. War pilots that were POWs or their planes crashed in war. Again, you guys, the rituals. You pay attention, you can see what's coming before it happens. And we've called a lot of things before they happen. But yeah, hold on. Let me get to the Paul Walker part here. There's a lot of rituals to that too. But okay, Paul Walker died at age 40, meaning he died in his 41st year of life, November 30th, 11 plus 30, 41, skull and bones. Papa Bush, who was number 41, would die 5 years to the day later. George Walker Bush, George Herbert Walker Bush, Paul Walker, okay? So I think the point's understood. And the Skulls movie, Paul Walker's birthday is September 12th, which can be written 12/9 like 129. 129 is 201 in base 8 counting. Another guy who has that birthday is Andrew Luck. And Andrew Luck's birth numerology, the year he's born on September 12th, is also 129. And he played for Indianapolis, which is the only 201 city in America that has a lot of 201 rituals and death rituals, as we've covered so many times. But from Paul Walker's birthday to the release of the Skulls was 201 days later. And Skull and Bones with the Francis Bacon cipher is 201. Skull and Bones actually has a connection to 201 and 202. And that's kind of like when the Georgia Guidestones came down. They came down 201 days after the Pope's birthday or on his 202nd day of his age. 202 goes with San Francisco, and we know on the 202nd day of the year this year. Oh my God, his name is Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett, who had the song about San Francisco. He left his heart in San Francisco. He died. And that could be a bad sign because San Francisco and the Bay Area definitely got wrecked by that very unnatural earthquake during the World Series, which was synced up with Jose Canseco, which is all documented and proven by a pattern that we've talked about several times since. I wrote this book. It's mind-blowing what these people have been doing over the years. San Francisco, Oakland. That was not Mother Nature. That's what Jesse Ventura told you about on his show, Conspiracy Theory. The former wrestler like The Rock and a governor in Minnesota. But yeah, the character he plays, Caleb Mandrake, 31 and 149 against Skull and Bones is 149. By the way, that's the 35th prime. Catholics 35. JFK, the first Catholic president, number 35, killed in Dallas, which equals 41, established in 1841 while Bush was in attendance. But notice also the day that Paul Walker died, his character name Mandrake has that 31, died on the day, leaving 31 days left in the year. And he gets a red Porsche. He gets a red Porsche in the Skulls about Skull and Bones. Remember, Paul Walker died mysteriously in the red Porsche. At least so we were told. Unless Celebrity Island's a real place. You know, out where Hawaii is, man, there's a lot of ocean. Are we sure there's not some other even better island out there that they left off the map? Planes don't fly over it. Planes don't fly that much over the Pacific. See, that's where I start to just think about things logically. There's not a lot of plane activity over the Pacific. So, and the Pacific's huge. So are we sure there's not something else in the Pacific that we just haven't been told about all this time? Anyone who thinks theories like that are dumb, I mean, why? How many things exist in the world that we don't know about? What is really going on? Is everybody going to get the blowtorch wins while Celebrity Island's safe that none of us ever knew about? I mean, wouldn't that be a pretty smart plan if you were trying to rule the world and you were an Illuminati and, you know, just want to control everyone's minds all day? Yeah, there's even more to this, too. Yeah, that's right, with the national championship and, just want to let you know that, you know, Paul, and by the way, if you counted the full span of days, you could have said it came out on his 202nd day of his age. And realize this was right before George W. Bush became the second Skull and Bones president and shortly before 9/11. You know, later that year was the election. Here, what day was the election? What was the election date in 2000? 2000. Oh yeah, 2000 was the 41st. Oh no, hold on. Eldest son of the, I was like, wait, never mind. It was the 54th election. Well, there's the Jesuits. But it was November 7th. Okay, November 7th. So the day leaving 54 days left in the year was the 54th election. That's perfect. I just want to see how many days after the movie it was. What day was the movie again? March 30th? Where did it go? March 31st. Let's see. So it was 221 days later. The Bavarian Illuminati's 221. 7 months and 7 days. DC on the 77th Meridian West. United States 77. We all know what happened with Flight 77 on 9/11. Again, if you spell out September 11th, it's 77, like World Trade Center. Remember, came down 185 days after Bin Laden's birthday. Now, the governor spoke on his 185th day of his age in Maui, saying there were 185 people searching for survivors, and compared it to 9/11. While the event happened on his 247th day of being governor in the country's time of being 247 years old. So again, you had the 185s, which connect back with the World Trade Center, Bin Laden, now the governor. 77, Pentagon construction began there on the 77th Meridian in 41 on the date September 11th, right before Pearl Harbor. And then again, Flight 77 hits the Pentagon 77 minutes after taking off on September 11th on the 77th Meridian. I mean, come on. Took off at 8:20 and crashed at 9:37, they say, 77 minutes later. But now, 247, this is happening. And again, the World Trade Center is opened April 4th, 73, the 94th day of the year. The 5-year anniversary of MLK's assassination. And then the first major gun control legislation, 201 days after his death. It's another narrative they're taking us into. Give up all the rights and liberties. The world's out of control. The environment's out of control. People are out of control. Guns are everywhere. Too much freedom. Too much free speech. Let's take it all away. And we can just live in meta. Jesuit-run meta. Jesuit big tech. They got us from all angles. That's why we got to wake up and stop it. So, yeah, anyway. That was another 201 or 202. Either way, you got it with the skull and bones. If you wonder what Francis Bacon Gematria is, it's where uppercase matters. Lowercase A through Z is 1 through 26, and uppercase A through Z is 27 through 52. It's another very real cipher. But just so perfect. So perfect. Skull and bones, Templars, Jesuits with the Templar cross. Their military orders. We're talking about military activities by a code. Their secret societies. We're talking about military activities by a secret code. Hurricane Hillary on Bill Clinton's birthday. What a joke. It's always a joke, man. That's what we've been showing forever. Aaron Judge, man, he's on fire. He's hitting a home run every game. And all of a sudden he can't hit any home runs. Is he going to break the record? Oh, he breaks it during Yom Kippur for judgment. Just like how he broke Babe Ruth's record years ago during Yom Kippur. Oh yeah, Yom Kippur. That's also when you had the Vegas shooting. And Jason Aldean was up on the stage, who's so hot right now in the news. Jason Aldean 201. Have you ever seen Jason Aldean's tattoo? Jason Aldean 201. The Las Vegas Strip 201. Remember the mass shooting? It was in the time of Yom Kippur, which relates to Saturn. Saturnian Order 201, because Saturn's connected to judgment. And that year, Yom Kippur began on the day, leaving 93 days left in the year. And then, again, this happened right at the start of the day, leaving 91 days left in the year. But here, I got to show this to you about Jason Aldean. It's on an old post. Since we're talking Illuminati, Order of Illuminati 201, we got to get the Jason Aldean tattoo up. Again, it happened the year of the eclipse, the Great American Solar Eclipse. The next one's coming up spring 2024. But the Illuminati card game, look at the tattoo. Look at his tattoo. This is Jason Aldean's tattoo. It's kind of got like it's got a sun with the similar rays to the Jesuits. It's similar, but the Jesuit one has 32 rays, like how the Dodgers broke the 32-year drought over the Rays. But God, the peach makes me wonder too, because there was a thing this year about Georgia and how Georgia didn't grow any peaches. I didn't think about the peach thing in the past, but that was a big story this year. Georgia in focus, Civil War, his song, people saying it's racist, it's the South. All this focus on Georgia. Now the Vegas thing's back through Maui. This was Trump's first year as president, Trump with the casino in Vegas. But notice the cards on his tattoo, and notice the cards on the Illuminati Illuminati card game for Las Vegas. It's the same cards. You know what I mean? And then Jason Aldean's 201, like Order of Illuminati, like Adam Weishaupt died. You know what I mean? And then the Rock, all his stuff. The new Disney movie, Disney 201. You know what I mean? The death of The Rock's grandfather. You see what I mean? Just all this stuff, how it all comes together. Trump being a part of this. Biden being a part of this. He's laser focused. They've been giving up their family in the 201 rituals. Wife, daughter, son, ex-wife. Illuminati confirmed the Jesuit order, the book I've been working on for 3 years. Haven't been able to finish it because it's always too much information that I want to get into 50 pages so people will actually read it. But man, it's just going on everywhere. Going on everywhere. It's going on in Montgomery with the race brawl. Atlanta with the new 4th indictment in the 4th state. Maui. All the other places we've been talking about. I mean, we were out in Buffalo teaching about this. We've been in New York City teaching about this. Oklahoma City teaching about this. Oklahoma City bombing on Ignatius Loyola Day, the original 201. Blamed on Timothy McVeigh 201. The Masonic Temple got messed up right behind the blast, so it sold for $201,000. Look it up. Oh my God. Illuminati to infiltrate Freemasonry, just right there in your face. Boom. Timothy McVeigh was CIA, established on the 201st day of the Pope's age was the CIA. Central Intelligence Agency, United States of America, the words in the logo, 201. Inauguration Day, these presidents inaugurate on the 201st day of the nation's age each year, starting from July 4th on 20/1, when inauguration of the President of the United States equals 201. The old inauguration day was the 63rd day of the year, so don't think it wasn't the Illuminati back then either. And you know, that was the inauguration day back in the time of the Civil War, too. And now they got Trump in court in Georgia on March 4th for the Civil War theme, when Lincoln blamed the Civil War on the Jesuits. Anyway. I noticed some interesting things about Yale's Gematria looking outside of the base ciphers. Yale and Sumerian Gematria is 258, like Order of Illuminati. Again, Yale's older than the country. If you go there, you'll see it's like a castle. And last year we were on the Yale campus. On September 12th, Paul Walker's birthday, educating about this. And all the Yale students that we talked to really got it and you know, seemed to appreciate the work. The one place where I read somebody's body language where I could tell that I went too far, I was talking to a group of younger girls on the Yale campus about this knowledge. And by the way, what we introduced to every Yale student was just the most simple thing. And then we took it from there based on how they were. But everyone appreciated this. Just the most simple cipher. Yale's 43. George Herbert Walker Bush. People know that he was president and was in Skull and Bones. He was the 43rd vice president. His son was the 43rd president. The election of his son came down to Florida, where his brother was the 43rd governor. Florida also has the Gematria 43 in the base ciphers. But everyone thought that, yeah, there's definitely something more to that. Secret society that identifies by a number. It's like the people at Yale weren't dummies. They're like, that's interesting. We met a young Jewish guy, and he was just going, he's like, oh my God. He's like, he was a Jewish guy, but he made the point about how some Jews are crazy about Gematria. He goes, he figures it's in English. Oh my God. And he might know more than I do. He might be connected to one of these guys because he was saying things, and I was listening, and I was like, he has a good idea what I'm talking about, but anyway, we were on the Yale campus talking to these people last year, and then something wild happened that night. It like epically rained, and that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time, but it ended up not being the most fun night for us, thanks to how crazy it started raining. Speak of the devil, now that I think about it. Shout out to Jeremy White and all the people that were with me. But yeah, other things in this Yale number. It has the 419 in trigonal gematria. That's like April 19th, Ignatius Loyola Day. Fateful day in history. Revolutionary War. Oklahoma City. What just happened in Canada that got their gun rights taken away. On and on and on. April 19th. Always popping. Yale also equates to 183 in satanic gematria. Like Order Out of Chaos, like Pearl Harbor, like the 183s we talked about. This, if you go back and watch the video we did on Pepsi. But yeah, the real big piece here is this epic 62 ritual. 62 days before Yale turns 322. Bringing it in with this guy. And again, just where all these Illuminati networks sync up. Again, the Illuminati founded by a Jesuit. The Illuminati with plans to infiltrate, including Freemasonry. You can see how all this stuff comes together. Jesuits since the 16th century. Moana came out in 2016. But yeah, again, my thumbnail says, or the title of the video says how we can stop the next one. Again, I don't really know if we can stop the next one. I mean, that's probably not realistic because these people are very frequent with what they do. But we can stop this from happening eventually if humanity wakes up and understands and it's explained. And it can be explained better than I did in this video, but again, just segment by segment, chunk by chunk, 62, 127. Number of directions you could go from there. Yeah, I'm gonna get this into as tight of a little pamphlet as I can get it into. The key points here, something written, so I can just get it out in electronic form. And when I'm out in Maui, I can be reading straight from it, or I can just speak freely from the mic, but tell people where to go to get more information, get it up. Yeah, so that's my plan right now. Again, I am nearly done with the Kobe book. I am going to get out the one for the election, but because I'm planning to go to Maui very soon, I almost feel like this moves in front of the to-do list. Because this is so serious, you guys. And I'm worried that there's a lot more to come for Maui, Polynesia, the West Coast. I mean, hey, what's coming to California with Hurricane Hillary right after Bill Clinton's birthday? Again, the first tropical storm in California since 39, when Clinton equals 39, and I've always talked about Clinton in 39. If you don't know, Bill Clinton was born to the Blythe family. His biological father was murdered, and his mother married into the powerful Clinton dynasty out of New York, which we call 39 land. New York, Hawaii, they got the 39 like Clinton. California's supposed to have, again, I mean, just think about it, you guys. California is expected to flood from its first tropical storm since 1939, 84 years ago. Reminding of Bill's Jesuit education, but California, again, does have the 52 like flood. But what I meant to write was Clinton. Clinton 39, Hawaii 39, New York 39. United Nations in New York's 39 floors tall. Big history with New York and 39. Hold on, I gotta look up the Chicago fire with the Kanye and Obama thing. Chicago Fire's a show? I didn't know that was a show. October 10th, 2012. Who watches all these shows? Same people who don't know anything about Gematria. Their whole life was on entertainment. Here, Great Chicago... Oh, I see. The show came out on October 10th, and the Great Chicago Fire went from October 8th to October 10th. Nice. Well, that means that it was burning during Yale's anniversary, right? So we're talking about... So, I mean, it's October 9th, the middle date. That's interesting, isn't it? That's interesting how the Yale birthday and this anniversary overlaps. In light of the peace with Obama and Kanye. That happened in 71, right? Again, the 71st anniversary of the admitting of weather warfare. The 353rd day of Hawaii's age, the 71st prime. The fire started around 8:30 p.m. 8-3. Fateful. Look at that. It bordered the alley behind 137 West DeKoven Street. How many islands is Hawaii made up of? 137. Again, 137 is the 33rd prime. How many islands make up Hawaii? Skyline Hawaii. The 8 largest are the most well-known. Oh, there's that 8 again. But there are 137 islands and 5 counties. This year will be the 152nd anniversary. Joe Biden has had a lot of 152 rituals. And again, he said he was laser focused. Lasers 88, like the 88 date. like weapon-like energy as a reminder. In 1871, the Chicago Fire Department had 185 firefighters. Why is it the same number again? I know this is Wikipedia. That's not always right, but I mean, why is that even there? Huge with 9/11, and Larry Silverstein connects New York and Chicago. Again, the governor was just there on the 185th day of his age talking about the 185 rescue people when it connects with the World Trade Center, and he compared it to 9/11. I want to see if any other source has that. Chicago Great Fire, 185 firefighters. Let's see if that pulls up anything. Chicago Cop uses that as well. Ducksters, whatever that is, uses that. The University of Chicago magazine uses the 185 number. Okay. I'm gonna take the time. Here's some 185s to think about. Catholicism 185, mathematics 185, and again, World Trade Center's 185. And if you measure from Bin Laden's March 10th birthday to when 9/11 happened, it was 185 days later. Again, now we're in the 247th year of the nation's existence. Hold on, I have to look something up, you guys. Bear with me. I know there's something about 185 in the human body because I wrote it in my book. Willard Hotel. Oh, that's right. Lincoln had the failed assassination attempt at the Willard Hotel, which is 185, and then he had the correct assassination attempt at or the one that supposedly happened at Ford's Theater, which is 185. Hold on. Willard Hotel 185. This isn't even what I meant to look up. Ford's Theater 185. Remember, there's all these parallels going on right now with Lincoln and Kennedy and 144 in the upcoming election. Again, Lincoln was shot on 14/4. RFK dead at 1:44 in the morning. JFK killed a span of 144 days to meet with the Pope. RFK Jr. got in the race 144 days from the Superior General's birthday. The upcoming election's 144 days after Trump's birthday. He was with the Jesuit Pope on the 144th day of the year, May 24th, the day Ecuador was established. And then you just had the Ecuadorian assassination on the day leaving 144 days. But all this stuff going on with the parallels with the Civil War and the Kennedys and, the Trump controversy. Again, Trump's also got that 185. And he was part of history on 9/11. He was part of that day. But hold on, let me find what I wanted to find on 185. I'm glad I found that. That's why it's good to go back and look at things. Hold on. Oh, it had a lot to do with Rod Serling's death too, 185. That he founded the Twilight Zone, which is 201. And Rod Serling died in a very, look at when Rod Serling, yeah. R.I.P. Rod Serling. Where is what I want? I know it's in here somewhere. Oh, here we go. Within the human body, this is on page 122 in my big book. Page 122. Within the human body, we are made of 18.5% carbon, considered the God element. Perhaps this is the reason for the encoding, or perhaps it has entirely to do with Plato's remembered quote on the world's first university, at least as it is remembered by history. That quote was, "Let no man ignorant of geometry enter here," which equals 185. So Pythagoras' old quote that was so important to the Pythagoreans, who were big in numbers, that quote equals 185. All of these rituals in history with 185 in Gematria, which means geometry and language. So, yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Okay. Thank you very much, Nathan. Nathan donated again. Very generous. $10. Said chat user Concrete Wave 85 says, oh yeah, Steve from Cleveland. Shout out to Steve from Cleveland. He was definitely out there pounding pavement with us last year in Cleveland. My Clinton connection in his last video. In 93, Clinton gave an apology for the Hawaii overthrow on date that Moana movie released. Unbelievable. So it must have been November 27th. Let me look that up. Bill Clinton, not November 27th, November 23rd is the day Moana came out. But 1993. Let's see. Apology resolution. The resolution was adopted by both the House and Congress November 23rd, 93, a joint resolution. Let's get this more. Wow, that is incredible, you guys. That's how planned out these people are. U.S. Public Law 103-150. Jesuits 103. Illuminati 150. The Flood in 150. But yeah, Moana came out 23 years later, and now here we are in 2023, right? And it's November 23rd. I mean, think about all that. The 23rd of the month. In the 11th month, the master plan. 23 years later. We've been talking about 23 all year. Oh, there was maybe it's the, hold on, is it the governor's age? The governor's born on the 59th day of the year. Remember that, because Hawaii became a state in 59. Is that what it was? I saw a 23 earlier I didn't write down when I was decoding this morning. Yeah. Okay, so from the governor's birthday to the fire was exactly 23 weeks later. Mr. 201. Again, Disney has the big 201 connection. Through the founder, through the relationship with the brother, through Disney World. Walt Disney's De Molay. De Molay comes from the Templars. Templar cross in the middle of the Jesuit logo. Templars serve the Catholic Pope at 201. Okay. 23 years to the day. Man. And now, Hurricane Hillary, supposed to flood California, down where Disneyland is, on Hawaii's birthday. Right after Bill Clinton's birthday. Woo! You don't think these people are planned out? Again, they can do this because they're controlling the puppet stage. You know, they chose Bill Clinton. He went to Jesuit Georgetown. They pair Hillary with him. You know what's amazing? How many Americans know about Monica Lewinsky and the blowjob and the blue dress, but don't know anything about JFK's speech about weather control from 1961? I mean, there was over 30-some extra years to get the word out there after JFK's speech, and then Lyndon Johnson even talked about it after him. He who controls the weather controls the world. Man. I'm surprised they didn't introduce it on Pearl Harbor Day. Incredible. Great find, and thank you very much for bringing that to my attention, Nathan. Let's go back. November 23rd, 1993. Yeah, he would have taken office January 20th, 93, first year in office. It was 307 days after Bill Clinton's birthday. In Jewish Gematria Freemasons, 307. That's the 63rd prime number, Illuminati 63. Or, if you count the full span of days, it was 308 days on the day, leaving 38 days left in the year. And now it's synced up with this fire, 38, that's connected with Dora, that's connected with Dora the Explorer. And also the Maui flood on March 8th. And the fact that Pentagon is 38, and the Pentagon has military weapons technology, and it's on the 38th parallel north, and energy equals 38 and 88 to go with the 88 date and everything else. We talked about where the 25 comes in with fire and Taco Bell, and amazing. Amazing. Man, you guys, in a little more than a week's time, look at the research we've put together in a little more than a week's time for Maui. I mean, that's how important this knowledge is, and how important the community is, and why this has to get out in a big way. I mean, my biggest problem with myself is doing this and trying to raise funds for this work. It's pulled me back into the matrix because now I'm back to having things besides cash, and I'm paying taxes to this tyrannical federal government. It makes me sick, really. And it's why the first 5 years I did this, I didn't ever raise a dollar, and I was trying to get everybody to just break the system. But that's where we got to get back to. We got to get back to break the system. The system has to be broken and stopped in its tracks. And it would if people have woke up and just started working together, sharing the resources, not paying the man anymore. Sorry, man, you're not getting paid anymore. You used our money to give us the blowtorch wins. We're done paying the bills. You blew it. That's the way it should be. I might have misspoke, but again, the movie Moana came out in 2016, 23 years later. And now this is happening in 2023. That's what I meant to say. You know, today, it's 30 years later since Bill Clinton did this. 30 years later, the return to Saturn is 30 years. Saturn's 93. Goes with the whole 93 theme as well. The return to Saturn's 30 years. It's actually closer to 29 and a half, which is about how long it is from that to the fire. These people, man, and I guarantee you, the day that they did this, they had a calendar marked with plans for Hawaii. Guaranteed. This is what we've been seeing all throughout history. This has been going on. This game. This little Illuminati game. These people are the Riddler. These people are Jim Carrey and Batman. Jim Carrey and the number 23. Very good. Thank you, Nathan. Are you talking about Extinction Level Event? CHK Busta album, Extinction, yeah. God, we can almost go back. Jonathan and I did a long decode on that album when it came out, and the first one, and the timing of it, and hold on. Let me go back and find one of my older posts on it. Busta Rhymes has that collaboration with Ozzy Osbourne, Mr. 201, who's had some 201 rituals in his time. Better look out, Mr. Bats. Let me see if I can find my post on Busta Rhymes' Extinction Level Event follow-up album and the timing of that. I got multiple posts. Oh, there's that 93 again for Extinction Level Event. Hold on. He talks about Illuminati in the intro. Oh, this was another 2025 thing. This was an example I forgot about 2025. I'm going to change the title right now so it comes up more when I search for my 2025 stuff. So this came out in 2020, and Busta Rhymes says in the opening thing, we only got 5 years left. And that doesn't mean we only got 5 years left. I mean, David Bowie said that on Space Oddity. But again, I think they got big plans for us in 2025. There's a lot of predictive programming for that year. Again, that new Moana live action comes out that year. They might have just been filming what happened in Maui over the weekend. That might be what they put together. June 27th, 2025. But there was more than that. That was just one of the things we noticed. We did a big decode on that. Came out 22 years after the first version, like 22 chapters in Revelation. The Wrath of God, 201, right? The Wrath of God. Maui also just burned up 129 days before Disney's death anniversary. Again, that's 201 in base 8. Part 2, 22 years later. The album released 201 days before Busta Rhymes' upcoming birthday, which is also 164 days from his last. And also the album Extinction Level Event 2, The Wrath of God, is 164. So that goes with 164 days after. 164 days after is 201 days before. And, God, you know what's interesting about Busta Rhymes' birthday? Well, he's born in 72, right? 72 demons in the Goetia. Jesuit order 72. Huge number at the Jesuits. The sun moves 1 degree every 72 years on the astrological wheel. That came out while he was 48, like Illuminati. But May 20th is it's Billy Cannon Day too. But it's the day in history that Ignatius of Loyola was shot with a cannonball. That's why the Jesuits made it the first day of their Ignatian year. Pearl Harbor Day is 201 days after Busta Rhymes' birthday. His birthday is May 20th. Remember the superior general, Adolfo Nicholas of the Jesuits, died on May 20th, the day leaving 225 days left in the year, and his name equals 225, like the Great Tribulation. 2025. In 2020, he said we only got 5 years left. He's got Gematria rhymes galore. Probably something with Chris Rock on that. We all know what they did with Chris Rock and Will Smith and Sidney Poitier. We predicted that one dead on. R.I.P. Came out. The first one came out on the day leaving 16 days left in the year. Jesuits since the 16th century. Right before Saturnalia, right before Christmas. Super Catholic time. But also in 98, where Prophet's 98. Hold on real quick. Hello? Yeah. Yeah, what's going on? Yes. All right, apologies. I had to take that phone call. I've been waiting for that phone call for more than a week. But yeah, the word prophet's 98 too. Just Busta Rhymes, big star in hip hop. And if you look into Busta Rhymes, like he supposedly had the book by William Cooper, Behold a Pale Horse. So maybe a little bit more knowledgeable than some other people when it comes to the occult and New World Order and Illuminati and all that. Maybe it's on Jonathan's. There was even more work we did to this. We looked at this in a big way, this extinction level event. But yeah, he did say 5 years in 2020. Interesting. Okay, shout out to Nathan again. He said, edit, that's not Steven in my previous super chat. Just looks alike. If you mess up, own it. Sorry, y'all. Well, you didn't have to do that, Nathan, but thank you. And thank you to the person who did find that. Great find. Black Youngsta's brother's death. Black Youngsta is the guy who did the album 223 and Illuminati. Don't tell me his brother's death's in the news today. I'm gonna die if Black Youngsta's brother's news is in the death today on 18/8. I might die in this stream from I can't believe the world still hasn't caught on yet to what's going on if that news is today. Always appreciate your time and efforts, brother. The research always tells the truth if folks are willing to dig a bit. Undeniable. Thank you very much, Stevie J. Very generous. And yeah, I wish this work had spread a lot more further than it had, and big tech has definitely not been a help to us in that regard. It was spreading a lot better many years ago. Back when Moana was coming out was the last time we were getting views. But let me look at this Black Youngster thing. I'm going to die if it's today. I'm going to die. Black Youngster brother. He's had 2 brothers die in the past already. 4 hours ago, 1 hour ago. This is today's news. Oh my God, you guys. I already got this whole thing busted open. This is already over. I already wrote a whole bunch about Black Youngster and the Illuminati and his 223 album. We already covered all this years ago before it happened. So we already know, right? Black Youngster is all about money, right? Again, U.S. dollar bill denominations. The 1, the 2, the 5, the 10, the 20, the 50, the 100. I should almost just start another stream for this. This is another great example to teach Illuminati, but it also goes with what we've been talking about. Why The Rock got married on this day. He's in the Illuminati. So is Black Youngster. I mean, these guys are not the Illuminati making the decisions, but they're in the Illuminati network. They're like pawns on the chessboard. You know, that's who they are. Who's the Memphis rapper that just died in the huge Jesuit ritual just the other year? And Black Youngster did a music video peeing on his grave afterwards or something. The incident occurred around 9:30 a.m. Did we get it with the 9:30? Order of Illuminati 93. We get that, right? Bavarian Illuminati 188, like 18/8. This guy has an Illuminati album. Let me just go find my old posts on Black Youngster and the Illuminati, because we've been down this road. All right, Black Youngster had a brother die on 6/9, just for the record. Illuminati also has the 69 in it, okay? Wait till you see what his birthday is. All right, so he's had 2 brothers killed. His birthday's 4/8, right? He loses his brother on 6/9, Illuminati 48, Illuminati 69, sun 150 million kilometers away, the age limit of 120 in the Bible. 120 is the 15th triangular number. The Illuminati is founded on the first day of the 5th month. His brother died 62 days after his birthday. Of course, sacrifice is 62. He has the 223 album. Oh, the family surname is Benson, which is also 69, going with his brother's death on 6/9. His brother died in Miami on a 27 date. Miami and Ritual 27. His brother's rap name, Heavy Camp TD. Hold on. This isn't... I want to get to the Illuminati thing, though. I got several posts on him, on Black Youngster, because he's lost 2 brothers. This is his 3rd brother who's died already. And, you know, we said this a long time ago. We said, oh, man, that's right. What's his name? Red Silver J. You guys remember Red Silver J? He did that great video questioning the events of Sandy Hook. And then, sadly, once I came on the scene, he started making videos making fun of Gematria. He even made fun of my Black Youngster video on Gematria. Whatever happened to that guy? He got way bigger views than I ever got. But when it came to Gematria, he said it was the stupidest thing online. He said it was as dumb as flat earth theory. I thought, man, how can you compare it to flat earth theory? Hold on. I want to find the Illuminati post. Am I spelling it? Is it? I might be spelling his name wrong. I think I'm spelling his name with a K and it's just BLAC. There's a band. There's a girl R&B group from the 90s that has a song called Black. Or wait, no, the group's called Black and they have a song called 808. Yeah, Black Youngster spells without the K. That's what I'm doing wrong here. That's why the right posts aren't coming up. Some of my posts I spelled it wrong. Okay. His 223 album. So 223 is the 48th prime. Illuminati's 48. His birthday's 48. Bavarian Illuminati's 188. And again, his other. I got to find the other death of the brother, but that last one we covered had the Illuminati ritual. He said it took him 223 weeks to make $2 million. And man, that's good. Most people don't make that much money in a lifetime, and that's a lot longer than 223 weeks. But we know why they really did that. Down in Memphis, young Dolph, that's what I was thinking about that got killed in the huge Illuminati Jesuit ritual. Masonic and Jewish Gematria is also 223. The Synagogue of Satan's 223, like Philadelphia, like the Church of Philadelphia gets the letter about the Synagogue of Satan. Remember what they did to Philadelphia, the biblical Philadelphia, Turkey at the beginning of the year with the huge ritual while Sam Smith was like doing the Satan thing at the Grammys? It's all synced up. But 2023, the year of 223s. It's been all these 223s all year. Natural disasters, another 223. Supposedly the worst natural disaster in a century in Hawaii. And they were gloating about how Lahaina got wiped out on the 223rd day of the year, August 11th, the anniversary of the Hart patent. Black Youngster, he's got that 67, like soul. What they just did with Jamie Foxx in the Soul movie, and then his return with They Cloned Tyrone, where under the Jesuit IHS is the secret button to get to the lab under the church. If you guys haven't seen that movie, it's messed up. And when you watch They Cloned Tyrone, listen to when they're talking about all the 44s. 44 seconds after the chicken powder, blah, blah, blah. All these assassinations in history. Black History and Beyond with 44. Number right on the screen as I talk about Black Youngster. This album came out 44 days before his birthday. And it's like I said there's going to be deaths connected to this guy. And probably before long it'll be him himself. It's been his brothers so far. But yeah, that's what it is in showbiz. Sell your soul, get the money, and goodbye to your family. Hopefully some of them live longer than others. I don't know. I don't know where my other Black Youngster posts are. But again, the point is Black Youngster's always been Mr. Illuminati. And again, they're just talking about the same stuff, right? And now it's Illuminati. Oh, the other thing I forgot about August 18th, you guys. I meant to hit this earlier. Bavarian Illuminati, 188. Let me spell it right. 188 and 80. Like The Rock's 80 and he got married on this day, and Kofi Annan died at age 80, and where the 127 comes in. But Bavaria also goes with this day, August 18th. Bavaria is 135, and today, August 18th, leaves 135 days left in the year. And Bavaria's got the 54 like Jesuit order. And again, the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt set up the Bavarian Illuminati, which was renamed Order of Illuminati. And Skull and Bones gets a symbolism from the Templars, but is modeled after the Bavarian Illuminati. Again, where all this stuff intersects. I got to go back and go find all my Black Youngster stuff, but yeah, that's just low-hanging fruit at this point with Black Youngster, with deaths in the news at 9:30 a.m. on this day. I mean, that's what we talked about years ago. How many years ago are these posts from? Over 4 years ago now. See? 4 years. Death. More. More death 4 years later. 4 days after old Bummer's birthday. It's a bigger old Bummer in Hawaii. A heartbreaking blow to black youngster. News of the fatal shooting comes as a crushing blow to acclaimed Memphis hip-hop artist Black Youngsta, who has already endured immense pain from losing two of his brothers in recent years. Black Youngsta, birth name Sammy Marquez Benson, first rose to fame through his mixtape collaborations with Yo Gotti. Before he's the guy that has the song Everybody. He's another rapper that reminds me of The Decline. And you know what? What's funny about Yo Gotti's not a very good rapper, but compared to the other guys who are in the mainstream right now, he's like up at the top. Mainstream rap is so bad. It's like, how did it happen? How did the deliberate dumbing down of America happen this fast? Why are we arguing about if men can compete in women's college sports? Oh my God, we think of... I should have started with what temperature do forest fires burn out and what temperature does steel melt at? Oh, it's like 1,000 degrees hotter it's got to be for steel to melt, but here it's happened again. Here it's happened again. It was just a forest fire. Put the conspiracy theories away. Black Youngsta's brother's death's just tragedy. That's all there is to it. Yo Gotti, and there's been some deaths connected to that guy before signing with Epic Records. Known for up-tempo southern hip-hop anthems, his music brought joy to many. But few knew the deep grief Black Youngsta carried from the loss of his younger brother several years ago. Then in 2019, tragedy struck again when another one of his brothers, an aspiring rapper known as Heavy Camp TD, lost his life to gun violence in Miami. Black Youngsta opened up in interviews about the lasting trauma from these experiences, admitting he struggled with suicidal thoughts after his first brother passed away. Losing yet another sibling reopens those deep wounds once more. This is the third sibling. All right, we covered the June 9th, 2019 death. I forget what it is with the other brother. I'll come back. I'll do another presentation on this later. I'll go back and figure it all out and put it together. But yeah, it's another good example to teach about the Illuminati and how it's not a joke. Here it is again. Here it is again. Let me see what music he's put out since his 223 album. I've never listened to any of this guy's music, but I have been covering him. He's 33 years old. He loses his third brother at age 33. Come on, man. Third brother at age 33. I can't believe how late in the day it is. Woo, the date flew by. Third brother at age 33. I'm going to go back and put this all together. Thank you, Abra. It is so wild how you're on point 100% of the time. I'm praying people actually wake up, but when there's no more tech, they're going to be running to read your books. Yeah, that's why we got to have them in book form too, because there will be a day when what you going to do when the grid goes down? Well, I'm going to be passing out Gematria books. That's what. So. All right, but yeah. I didn't realize how late it is in the day. I got to get some things done. And then, yeah. You guys can always follow my website, GematriaEffect.news. I got this pipe dream that people are going to come back and support my work. If there was just like an outpouring of support for the work, it would make it a lot easier for me to make the case that to Sweet Lady that maybe I need to get on a plane to New York for 9/11 and then back to Hawaii, to the Maui people to talk about the latest 9/11 happenings. Again, because so much support's fallen off for the work this year, like Sweet Lady just said, sitting back going, see, Zach, what's the point of traveling? It's dangerous. People don't support. Your support's fallen off. But I know it's so important to get out there and pound payment. I'm definitely going to Hawaii regardless if the support continues to go down. It's gone down it always went up from the day I started this until The day we started really bringing groups together all over the country, pound and pavement, and all the activities we've done, it was always going up. And now it's just always gone down since then. So I really feel like it's the big tech platforms, especially after having those nice ladies come out to Seattle and tell me that they haven't been able to be supporting the work anymore because the way they used to support, it won't accept their credit card anymore. And I've heard a lot of those stories from besides just them. So if you can still support, thank you. And if not, we'll still get out there. But yeah, I really would love to be in city to city, speaking out on the key dates, the anniversaries, getting the knowledge out there, inspiring more people to do it. Because that's what's got to happen, you guys. Everybody's got to get out all the time, just sharing knowledge, information, doing something every day to wake up somebody else. And that's pretty much the way I've lived my life for a long time now, but especially since the last decade that I've been teaching this. And yeah, I got to figure out how to get this in as simple as a form as possible. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say about the mayor. Yeah, I'll close out here with the new mayor born in 1962. Became mayor this year. This happened on his 218th day in office, you guys. And that's a number of death. In English extended gematria, that's death. And it's also a big number with the Holy Roman Empire that supposedly folded on August 6th, 1806. But obviously it didn't because it's alive and well, and they're doing rituals with this number all the time too. Number of death, number of the Holy Roman Empire. Romans, biblical. Fire from the sky, biblical. Stories of Maui not making sense. Learning gematria, seeing what's really going on, things are starting to make more sense. All these talking heads on TV attacking people like me, bring me on. Bring me on and let's do the whole damn segment. Let's debate for 30 minutes. You get to talk for 15 minutes, I get to talk for 15 minutes. Let's see who makes more sense about what happened in Maui. I'll bet everything I got that I win. So, ground zero, man. That was the big epiphany in this one, if you were here the whole time. Thanks, Barbara. I know Barbara's supporting. Okay, we'll leave it there for now, True Seeker. Again, thank you to everyone who hits the like and share. Thank you to everyone who clips these videos and just puts out 1-minute segments on TikTok or wherever else you can put it, your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram. Just anything to help get out the word. Or just recreate the video yourself or the part. Share the part that made the most sense to you. So. All right, True Seeker. Till next time, have your head on a swivel. Don't live in fear, but live alert. Have your emergency survival kit, water, food, at least for 2 weeks. Supply of water and food for at least 2 weeks. First aid, basic first aid. Could be life-saving. Simple cut could cause big problems in a disaster for 2 weeks, but now if you have first aid, you can clean it, you can wrap it up. You don't got it? Oh, man, you might be in trouble. Might get an infection, might turn into something serious. Ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure. First aid. What are you going to do? You need to cook food? Maybe just have cans. Well, they say have dry powdered food that's nutritious and light, but I'd have at least canned food. You can eat it raw from the can, beans, that kind of stuff. Tuna, probably a lot of mercury, not great, but probably better to have tuna with mercury in it than nothing and starve to death. Just things that are affordable. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Water, food that doesn't need to be cooked. If you're someone that just has to cook all your food, get a Coleman stove and some propane things. 10 of those propane things. Things cost more now. A few years ago probably cost $50. Now probably cost $100. But yeah, just have some stuff on hand. You might need some blankets depending on where you live. Does it get cold at night? Blankets. I mean, this could happen as it gets later into the year too, right? Hurricane Sandy, when we don't expect hurricanes, in a place where we don't expect hurricanes, right before Sandy Hook. Gotham City map, where they changed it from South Hook Lee to Sandy Hook the year of the shooting. How weird. Barbara says have soups. I'd have soups if you can eat them raw, or if you have your Coleman stove, you can heat them up. But yeah, there's a lot of food in cans. It's better to not eat food in cans, but for survival stuff that you can store away, cans aren't bad. A can of black beans in the store right now, probably close to 75 cents. You got raw black beans from a can. I mean, that's good nutrition, and it doesn't cost a lot. And I mean, you eat a can of black beans a day, it's less than you want, but it's enough to sustain you. So, Anyway. Lasagna? I don't know about lasagna. I don't know about lasagna. That seems like a complicated thing to make in Fallout World. How to get the noodles just right, the layers. Mm-mm. Yeah, bug out bag could be helpful. A bug out bag is just, food, first aid, emergency clothes. You need the right kind of shoes. Make sure you got the right kind of shoes in case you got to be out on your feet. Your area burned up. You got to travel. That's also why you should take care of your health. You want to be in better health. That'll help you in all ways, at all times. Yeah, you might want something like an ibuprofen or an aspirin. Yeah, might be good to have. Mm-hmm. Night vision goggles for blackouts. Now, that's expensive. If you got money, could be a life-saving tool, but definitely not a necessity. A wad of cash. A wad of cash could be helpful or not. Depends. Alcohol. It could be helpful depending on the situation. It's the end of the world and you know you're going to die. Might be glad you had some alcohol on hand. So, the blowtorch winds don't feel as bad when you're passed out with a good buzz. But yeah, probably not. Out of all the things you can carry with you, probably not the alcohol. Plenty of weed. Maybe. You got to think about weight if you have to be on your feet. You got to think about how much you can carry. So that's why I like all those survival stores that make like the powdered food that's nutritious. It doesn't weigh a lot. You can put a lot of them. You can put like 100 of those powdered foods in a bug out bag. It'd be heavy to carry around 100 cans of black beans. You'd be worn out. Taco Bell relaunched Volcano menu back in June with Paris Hilton that included a hotline. 1844. Huh. I got to look it up. That include a hotline. 1844 THTS hot. I was seeing if I could pull it up just by searching that. Did I do it right? Oh, it was only one T, not double T. 1844, that's hot. He's saying that number equals 127. Oh, it's because Derek made it so that... Yeah, it's stupid. That was one of the dumbest... I don't know why Derek recently changed the calculator so it makes the number values huge instead of adding it digit by digit like we do with the letters. But yeah, you're right. That number does. It equals 127 and 46, like ground zero, like the numbers at the ritual. It equals 51, like Hawaii, like the rock sage. Huh. There's always more. Only available between June 26th and August 2nd. June 26th is 26/6. We're in the time of the 266th Pope. The Jesuit motto, Isus Hominum Salvator, is 266. June 26th to August 2nd. June 26th is the 177th day of the year. Again, the Jesuit order has the 177, like weather control, like Pearl Harbor. Or wait. Wasn't Pearl Harbor? What was it? What was the 177 I saw earlier that did fit in with that? Damn. Have to go back and figure out what it was. But yeah, okay. Again, June 26th has that double Jesuit date. It's also the day leaving 188 days left in the year. And here we are on 18/8. Funny you find that perfect for the closeout on the end of this stream on 18/8, the anniversary of the Rocks. But June 26th to August 2nd, again, I was going to say the Rocks' wedding anniversary 4 years ago. Of course, Maui's got volcanoes, and they've had some weird... I got to go back and look at the weird volcanic activity. Look at that. It went a total span of 38 days, you guys. Total span of 38 days. Like Fire and Dora and 38 days. And it wrapped up right before this happened, huh? Paris Hilton, Hilton Hotels, Resorts, Hawaii Resort Town, the Eagles song The Last Resort. These people got jokes for days. Paris, where the Jesuits are from. Oh my God. These people need to stop. These people need to stop. Oh yeah, I got a Taco Bell even in my small little town. My little small town has a Taco Bell. I wonder if they'll burn us up too. Move to Seattle, assholes. Let's see. I'm seriously looking at the address of the Taco Bell in my town. They better not burn up my town too. Damn. 109. Number's a little bit worrying. Start tripping out about Taco Bells now. Weather's 109. Like The Rock is 80. But military's 109. April 19th. Serious events on the 109th day of the year. I just knows the address for the one. Oh, man. Taco Bell. Unbelievable. Think about all the people right now in the Taco Bell stores, drive-thrus, giving all their money to this Illuminati company. Toxifying their body. Helping pay for the next natural disaster. You don't even realize. Illuminati network. From your government to your fast food. I was going to look up Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton, date of birth. She's born on the 48th day of the year, like Illuminati. She's 42 right now. War number. Japan number. Pearl Harbor number. She's from New York. Pearl Harbor. New Pearl Harbor. February 17th. Let's see if there's more of a joke to having Paris Hilton. Oh my God, it was 172 days after her 17/2 birthday when the Jesuit motto, straight from Paris, is Ad Merum de Gloriam, 172. You think it's an accident? You think it's an accident? She's 42 like Jesuits 42, like Wars 42, like World Wars 42, like Japan's 42, like us sending troops off to World War II for the first time in 1942, shortly after Pearl Harbor at the end of 41. That's hot. Paris Hilton, she did the porn video. Before there was porn, there was the bikini. It's like the part of the progression of, I don't know, sexual revolution. First it's the bikini. If you guys don't know, the bikini for women is named after the islands where they did the nuclear testing because the only thing hotter than a big bomb was a woman in a bikini. Then it was the Paris Hilton sex video somewhere along the way before the Kim Kardashian one, before her and Kanye got together. I don't know, there probably is a porn joke in here. Maybe part of the joke is nobody's watching this video because they're all watching porn. They won't see the blowtorch winds coming. I mean, wouldn't that be sad? Wouldn't that be sad to know how many people in Maui got burned up who were jerking it to porn? Should have been outside on the beach with all the hot women in the bikinis. They didn't see the blowtorch wind coming because they were just so glued to the screen. Oh, man, they got a world. Everything they're doing right now has to do with depopulation, by the way. Pushing the, the sword fighting for dudes and the carpet munching for girls. That's population control. Genital mutilation, that's population control. Caitlyn Jenner, that's 201. Living in meta and virtual reality, all of this stuff. It's all been about population control. Eugenics. All right, good one, BK's level one. Appreciate that. All right, we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Again, thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. Thank you to everyone who supports the work. If I can get a surge in support, shout out to Talissa. Never seen Talissa's name on my Cash App before. She just sent $5. I appreciate that, Talissa. But, yeah, if we can get the support back up, I don't know. Maybe I can pull off a miracle here with Sweet Lady and say, see? They want me back out there. You know? There is support for me to go out all over this place and speak truth to power. I mean, I can do it online. She likes it better when I'm doing it online. She feels a lot safer about that. She says, see, Zach, the support doesn't go down when you do it online. But yeah, again, we need to be out there, you guys, because the people who do come out, they organize, they network. It shows the power of coming together, how we got something going, how it can get a lot bigger. It needs to stop what's going on. So, again, we'll leave it there for now. I'll probably be back later with the Black Youngster thing. Got to research this Paris Hilton taco thing more, or Taco Bell hot menu. It's never ending. These people with their jokes. Till next time.